And just everybody mute yourselves, usual rules. Richard, take it away. Okay. Can we see him? He was here. He must have logged out again. Okay. Right. Next up in the list, somebody want to go early anyway. We'll get Richard when he comes back in. Caroline Burrows, you're here. I did see you.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry. So when I came the time before last, I read the beginning of a poem called Venus and the Moon, which is going to be a really long, epic, probably novel-length poem, like Rime of the Ancient Mariner or something like that. So I was going to read part 2 this time. And in part 1, what's happened is Venus and the Moon have met in the sky and they've started a romance together. And everything was really beautiful in part 1. So this is part 2. Surprise! So at the end of part 1, the moon went dark. It went to a new moon. Okay. So part 2. Surprised, moon awoke with a thin light to hear Venus's song was ever long. Not having known pure love before, moon assumed Venus long gone. Moon's crescent arched with a yearning, growing gibbous with her welcome. Venus's oceans swirled and whirled, moon exuded magnetism. Moon believed only he ruled tides, Venus laughed and rode his wave. On his magnetic field she drew, bringing Moon to his full phase. Moon flooded her with deep swells of light as his fervour overflowed. From growing so intensely full, white as frost, this time he glowed. The stars gloried at Moon's halo, radiating to form a crown. They watched their foretold tale begin to turn a world upside down. Venus gasped, then changed the tempo, showed Moon time could be slowed down. They had no end to race towards, love expanded in the now. As their love flowed back and forth in perfectly matched desire, they formed into a conjunction, together rising higher. Earth breathed with leaves in red and gold, celebrating the lovers' splendour. Thought Venus wonderful for Moon, had never seen Moon happier. Venus resonated with Earth's leaves, like them she had fallen. She sang of seasons in which Moon made a spring from autumn. The stars clapped along in chorus, Venus bade them to join in. She was amazed, they knew all the lyrics. The stars knew everything. Of how her song would start and finish, they were light years ahead. They sang her nocturne beautifully, even the stars long dead. Moon told her she was his milk and honey. He promised years and years. Not knowing all time was relative, Venus cried joyful tears. Moon kissed each clear, glistening drop, felt a strange sensation. Her healing tears with no salt or sting reached his core of iron. Moon felt his steely centre soften, his heart began to glow. Moon caught a glimpse of what true love was. It burned steady and slow. With gentle flames, Venus kissed Moon. Moon called her a godsend, then cradled her, eased her to sleep. Love's embers he promised to tend. But left alone, Moon's thoughts flickered. He'd only known worship from afar. Began to question why Venus chose him, not a planet or a star. So Moon began to sow the seeds of his own self-doubt which grew. To test if Venus's love was pure, he darkened and withdrew. That's the end of part 2. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. That was great as usual. Thank you. Glad you could pop along. Okay, he's here. Next up, Richard Harris. Ready to go, sir?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I've got 3 poems here. The one is just something that came off Facebook because this guy has changed his attitude somewhat. And this is The Difference 3 Months Made. December 2019. What are them immigrants, them refugees from Yemen panicking about? A few bombs? Christ, we had worse than that in Hull in the war. And we stayed and we sorted ourselves out. Yeah, but it stopped. The bombing ended. The war ended. They shouldn't come here. It's just to get benefits and free healthcare. No, it's to save their lives and their families. They've left homes, jobs, lives to be safe. Don't be daft, they're just freeloaders. March 2020, the same person. Fucking police. Who do they think they are, coming to Aldi telling me what to do? But you were fighting. Well, I have to get my supplies. My family needs meat. My family needs me to stand for them. Your family needs you tasered, locked up, fighting over a trolley to get meat and toilet rolls. You do know this is a virus, not some guy with a machine gun and a bomb. You do know there's no case yet in town. Well, yes, you know it's right to stand up for your own. Yeah, right. And I couldn't believe it was the same guy. And then there's this one, which is the only thing that saves us. The vaccine may be the only thing that saves us, says my friend Mark. Made me think. I am naturally wary of vaccines, especially new ones. But to be fair, without it, we're buggered. As I walk through town to get to country lanes, because I can't, as I drive through town to get to country lanes, because I can't walk or exercise at all in town. Too frightening with no social distancing. And a few masks worn. It's been 5 weeks since I dared walk in town. It was obvious that things would get worse, but so many said it was not really a bad virus or it did not exist. So many thought it would not affect them. And now I hear of new affections, people I know, every day I hear of them. The virus is on my street, it's all over town. And I hear of idiotic, careless, reckless behavior. And I worry and sigh. And I realise maybe my mate was right. The vaccine may well be the only thing to save us, because human beings certainly won't. Thank you. And then I don't know if you know of a website called Wanton Fuckery, and they like radical poems, and they challenge people to write a poem about a certain person. And I won't tell you who it is because it announces at the end. And this was my poem on the subject. And it's From a Delirium. A child was ill, delirious, out of her mind, really fucking unwell. She'd had a bad dream, woke up, sat down and drew and wrote. She created bad, evil, wicked stuff. Now she had been raised posh, had a mind filled with posh shit. No Michael Merpungo for her. She got Woodhouse PG. Her mind was full of aristocratic crap, an outdated life. She created a nightmare, an evil bastard from her mind. It was a caricature, not a real creation. Now there is magic in this sad world, and this girl was filled with it. She drew and wrote and she created, and from her sick, diseased mind came the evil git that is Jacob Rees-Mogg. And that is how the bastard came to be. It was write a poem about Jacob Rees-Mogg. But there you are. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Big applause, round of applause to Richard. I just actually looked up that site of Wanton Fuckery and added it to my home screen. Certainly
Google it. It's fun.
Certainly one to get involved in, I think. All right, thank you. Next up, I know she actually saw before. She was on reserve, but one of the first to pull out. So we please welcome from across the water, Cynthia.
Okay, let me find my poetry. Hang on a second. Sorry. Hang on. Close you. New project. Harmonia. Okay. Enter. Sorry, I didn't realize I was coming. Okay, 5. Here we go. Okay. I saw many of you yesterday in Nashville, so I'll bring the next chapter. And trigger warning, I'm sorry. This is Harmonia, surviving an attack. Hey, beautiful. It always starts that way. Hey, beautiful, until they get closer, up close, real personal. Perhaps in space you felt should be private. And that's when it all goes south and my world goes to hell because their sweet smiles disappear. And look, it's a tranny and she's a he, boys, suddenly echoes off the walls. Before I comprehend, it's me that's echoing off the walls. My body, my delicate, exquisite, beautiful body is being hurled about, as are words, like filth and trash and tranny. It's hard to rise above and not take this personally, but these good old boys of the South, they know not what they do, and they don't know no better neither. I've not the right to declare the intimate details of my sexuality or genitalia private. Yet at the same time, they desire I keep my very living, breathing being private, hidden behind those walls, assigned to me at birth in the south wing of a godforsaken hospital in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. Excuse me. Where the personal destinies of so many are destroyed by misgendering, whether inadvertent or intended. Tranny. On this, what had promised to be a lovely afternoon, these good old boys weren't letting a good old tranny kicking opportunity pass them by. Too bad it wasn't private, because the cell phone toting junior journalists only egged them on to get more personal after my head had repeatedly been bounced off the walls. I was too dizzy to defend myself as they tore my beautiful handmade patchwork dress from my body, as witnessed by the sun's last rays through that south-facing window this unfortunate afternoon in South Nashville, where the headlines will soon announce that a tranny was unfortunately allowed to live. My once beautiful exterior packaging was a tad damaged, I'm afraid. Fuck, I can barely breathe. Those bruisers must take private lessons in brutality and how to utilize walls to inflict to the utmost damage. Personally, I am thankful to have escaped with my personal junk attached. As much as I'd like to exchange for a package reflecting me, Southern yahoos armed with knives were not what I had in mind for bottom surgery. So I'm thankful that walls were all these boys needed to feel like kings over the tranny, not Harmonia, not me personally. And while far from private, maybe the brutality will go viral, ruin what little social life I had. I just thank God that they used no worse than fists and boots and walls on this beautiful exterior personal casing to this little black tranny's deeply southern with this incarnation's indwelling soul. It's private, y'all. This skin remains uncut, split, yes, marred, yes, but not sliced with a blade. My walls are intact, still beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Glad you could make it. Thank you. That's an important piece, right enough, as they're saying in the chat too. Okay, we'll move on. Thank you for that. We move on to Kizzy Wade. Thank you.
Hello, I've got two tonight, if that's okay. Some of you have heard one of them, and that's the one I'm going to start with. It's called Activism in 2020. How to be an activist in 2020. We live in a time where everyone has opinions and everyone has a platform. Everyone has ideas change, but just having a social media account doesn't make you an activist. It makes you a 21st century human. So what's the difference? An activist activates. They initiate change. They suggest solutions to problems. They are willing to debate and discuss. They have a perspective on issues that you haven't even contemplated. Let's think about activism as a career for a second. I probably belong to the first generation for which fighting for change is a viable job option. But I'm certainly not the first person to aspire to make my mark. The suffragettes, the American Civil Rights Movement, the Chicago 7, all of these people did it before any careers advisor suggested it, just because they had a cause. What can we take from those predecessors? I have thought about this a lot, and the main thing that has stuck through the ages is passion and guts. The passion for the cause should be the same, whether the platform is a street protest or a blog. And no matter how you're saying the things that go against the grain, you need to be prepared for criticism. You need thick skin, whether it's Trump supporters commenting on Facebook or hate mail through the letterbox. But there are some differences between then and now. As I said earlier, everyone has a platform and opinions. That means we need to be imaginative with our content to get out of the echo chamber. But let me get this straight. I am new to this. I have a tiny reach. So how do I improve? Recently, I noticed there's not much easily accessible education for young activists. It is getting better. There are some programs for climate awareness and anti-racism, but these are very directed and sometimes exclusive. We need a general education that people can stamp their own cause on. We need a radical curriculum. Thank you. And the next one I've got is called We Have to Try. I write a lot about equality and discrimination action online, and I was thinking about how to get that across to people that say it's too hard or that there's too much like kickback from it. So I wrote this. It is easy to get isolated in our own life and become disconnected from wider issues. It is easy to get stuck within ideas we have always held. It is easy to forget to judge situations on our own experience, not reputation. It is easy to forget we are also fallible. It is easy to turn away from the topics we find uncomfortable. It is easy to turn away from hard or complicated. It is hard to sometimes accept the futility of our own problems. It is hard to open ourselves to education. It is hard to let go of those we admired and see their true colours. It is hard to accept the missteps we made and apologise. It is hard to take responsibility for our neighbours and our history. It is hard to find solutions for hate. It is impossible to ignore the injustices we live with. It is impossible to follow the same track we have for years. It is impossible to sleep on the trouble in our train's engine. It is impossible not to take responsibility and fix it. It is impossible to feel comfortable with our current situation. It is impossible to turn away. We have to try and empathise with people polarised from us. We have to try and lower our rigid walls. We have to try and accept different realities. We have to try and remember we're not perfect. We have to try and make sure everyone is eventually comfortable. We have to try and make it less complicated. We can start a revolution of meaningful actions. We can start a chain reaction of better attitudes passed down. We can start a quality but realist time. We can start something bigger than reforms on legal paper. We can start a society that values its people. We can start a currency of compassion. Thank you. If anyone would like to check me out online, I'll put my links in the chat. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you can unmute now. Big applause for Kizzy. So that's wow. Very powerful. She's always powerful. She's, you know,
Powerful.
the world future looks good if there's people like Kizzy in the world, huh? Okay, we're going to move on now to next up is Bob Kenyon. Thank you. Are you there? Robert?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry, I was muted there.
I couldn't see you. There's too many faces. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, two poems tonight. The first one is about football or soccer if you live across the pond. It's called Christie. Christie, it's Christie on the edge of the box. We are on the edge of our seats. Christie weaves, Christie bobs, Christie turns, drops his shoulder, shoots, goal, goal, an eruption of joy and coronavirus, our cans held high in salute, as the Highlander calls the Tartan army to attention and to the brink of victory. Wembley's golden arch and the old enemy are in sight. There will be lost skirmishes before that European encounter. There will be streaming tears of ecstasy, of anguish, of frustration, but not enough to wash away the memory of a golden goal which lifted a nation's hopes. Thank you. The second one is a hark back to Sundays in probably my youth, which is quite a long time ago. Sunday service made it the longest day, as drawn out as my chewing gum, which was banned in church. I stuck it under the pew, a marker for another day spent watching hunched black beetles, heads bowed in silent prayer, searching for salvation, or were they, like me, through narrowed eyes and latticed fingers, admiring the minister's daughter's breasts? Sunday lunch, we called it dinner in these days, a broth with carrots, neeps, and barley, so thick it would scare wallpaper waiting to hang. And dessert, we called it pudding in these days, Angel Delight, butterscotch with tinned peaches. Then the obligatory trudge around the rock-strewn bay, the antidote to sitting on a hard pew for 2 hours, scanning the horizon for selkies, the seal woman, of dreaming of plundering Viking raiders, peat reek signals sent from thatched roofs, and through the window, an elderly man, still in Sunday best, eyes closed, open Bible on his lap, in front of a roaring fire, a reminder that he should soon be getting set for evening service on just another Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Just another Sunday indeed, huh? Okay, moving on now, and please welcome another Blot regular, Michael Schindler. Michael.
Hello there. Yeah, unfortunately, here in the center of the United States, we do not have any silkies. It's a big problem for us. What can you do, though, right? Hey, man, you know, who doesn't love a silky? But this is a series of triolets, trying to stay on topic here. And hopefully this is a series that I can retire, because I would love it if these people were out of the public mind. It's called The Worst Family. Despot for DJT. No less a madman than King Lear. No trace of nobility. And yet, the rabble howl and cheer. No less a madman than King Lear. Those who love justice shed a tear as hubris murders liberty. No less a madman than King Lear, with no trace of nobility. Real estate for Melania. A loveless shell devoid of soul. Another piece of real estate. Bought by the world's most famous troll. A loveless shell devoid of soul. Third hemorrhoid on an asshole. A willing victim to her fate. A loveless shell devoid of soul. Another piece of real estate. Junior for D2T2. His role model, the worst of men. His decency, a thing stillborn. His unhinged moral compass spins. His role model, the worst of men. His foolish speech, a fetid wind. his actions all worthy of scorn, his role model the worst of men, his decency a thing stillborn. All the perfumes of Arabia for Ivanka. Your father's daughter, are you not? Poison flower of rancid seed, dyed roots growing from a cracked pot. Your father's daughter, are you not? Blighted soil polluted with rot, fetid bloom, wafting scent of greed. Your father's daughter, are you not? Poison flower of rancid seed. The Shallows for Eric. Embarrassingly useless tool, the dullest knife in the drawer. Unwittingly play the fool, embarrassingly useless tool from the shallows of the gene pool, as welcome as a canker sore. Embarrassingly useless tool, the dullest knife in the drawer. Tiffany's lament, the forgotten child. She's not the blonde her father craves. He can barely recall her name. No room for her among his faves. She's not the blonde her father craves. You'll never hear him sing her praise. For family sins, she's least to blame. She's not the blonde her father craves. He can barely recall her name. Slim chance for Baron. Is there hope for the youngest son? Cursed to be born a monster spawn, or has too much damage been done? Is there hope for the youngest son? Can foul destiny be undone? Has fate made him a tragic pawn? Is there hope for the youngest son? Cursed to be born a monster spawn. Okay, that's probably my time, right?
Make it another one if you want.
Oh, you're a wonderful person.
I don't like saying no. I like listening to you all.
Well, I appreciate that. How about a sonnet sort of on the same thing? This is called Impervious. Though kings by imperious. Though kings by imperious whim may rule, wielding reckless force, devoid of wisdom, power will slip from those advised by fools to crush subjects beneath the heavy thumb. A lack of empathy can make one cruel. Narcissism unchecked leaves spirits numb. Villains use flattery as a tool, advance schemes to which vanity succumbs. Stubborn as the proverbial mule, bristling at the slightest criticism. Scoundrel-stoked hubris is disaster's fuel. Hallucination replaces vision. Oppression leads to pandemonium. Revolt, the inevitable outcome. Okay, well, thank y'all. Appreciate it. Great to be here.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Great words as usual. Thank you. Okay. Next up, we have another wonderful young talent who has a book out as well. I'm sure she'll post it in the links if you haven't already got it or ordered it. Please welcome Lily Massey. Lily.
Hi everyone. I hope you're all okay. Thanks Ben for allowing me to shamelessly plug. I will post a link in the chat. So I've got a couple short ones and then a longer one that I've written today. It's a little drafty, I think, but I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm going to read it. But this first one is called Loss. I felt lost today. There was a sad romanticism hanging in the air, and my palms curled in, out, sweaty and wet with tears. Inside my heart, a joy was kindled with the spirits floating in my brain, and I think they'll never stop whistling. Their song is a melancholy heartland, a fallen angel in a fire of bliss. And if they stop, I'll feel the loss again, but stronger and deeper and darker than the silence has ever been before. Thank you. And then this second one, if I can find it, yeah, got it, is untitled. It's okay to break now, to wrap myself in paper and gift myself to you, to call my heart a real thing and let myself be true. I feel the grips pull at my skin and smile because it's noble. The sun shines against my face and sighs because it's holy. Your eyes are all upon me, like the stars will watch the earth. Tomorrow, I'll unravel myself, a new meaning, a rebirth. Thank you. And then this last one, like I mentioned, is new, but it's sort of something that I've been wanting to say for a little bit about sort of widening our perspective. It's called Charlie and the Opinion Factory. I want to live in a world where Charlie goes up in a glass elevator and never comes down again. He'll live infinitely, Grandpa and he, in a place away from grief and blackened hands, with a funny man, with a funny name, a song in his heart and a joy in his step. This world will keep weeping willows beautiful and fairy lights bright. Cinderella in her castle and smiles on every face, while the villains live in exile. A narrow view of a narrow time twists us, I think, to see what we want to see and seek a ghost who will confirm our beliefs and strengthen the 4 brick walls crafted around our bodies by a blacksmith in a chair of gold. The single colour of a rainbow is guiding our paths and taking us away from treasure chests of variety. We are stuck in a cycle of oppressive dark and the lonely 4 walls of our minds. I want to see the kaleidoscope, so sometimes I must let the villains in so I can capture the sounds of their guttural moan, dissect the ribbon strip meaning, and mine diamonds. Now, Charlie comes back to the real world with Grandpa and memories, a spring in his step, a song in his heart, a wisdom beyond the glass chandelier, because he saw from up there that he was not the only one who could change. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a lovely night, and yeah, just thank you for listening. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lily. That was great. I just loved the title of that one. I loved it. The smiles all around when you gave the title, then when you read it. It was just great piece, great piece. Thank you. Right, we move on. Excuse me, I don't think this next person's here. He's supposed to be joining us from Zimbabwe, I think. If we get his name right, I can't see him. Mbozan Chirasa? No, okay. We'll move on. From somewhere, nowhere near Zimbabwe next. We all know, we all love her. Kathy Carson.
From Zimbabwe to Ireland, what a letdown. So this is about Fight the Power. This piece is about domestic violence involving children. So I will say, if you need to turn me off, if you need to turn your camera off or go grab a cup or use this time differently, that's absolutely fine with me. Do whatever you need to do to stay safe. And also say that this is about me prosecuting my father for a GBH. That was not when the battle was won. The battle was won years later when I learned to approach my father's behaviour with compassion, because I realised that leaving that home I had a number of behaviours that were aggressive and destructive as well. And I was only able to change those because people met that aggression with compassion. And I often wonder, who could my father have been had he had his aggression met with compassion? And that has really helped me to move forward. So that was for me when the battle was won. So this piece is called Ready. Apologies to Clive and Marky Mark and Michael Wilson, who could probably do this piece for me. Sorry. Please come. It's just your wee daddy keeps on asking for you. And I think it will be hours now rather than days. Do you know that your nurse sounds like a petulant child? I don't care, I tell her. You tell him I don't care and I'm not coming. You tell him I hope this cancer is rampaging through him. I hope it's making his skin creep and his teeth itch. But I slammed down the phone and I grabbed my keys and my coat because I am coming to see you. I am ready. At 6 years old, I was already afraid of you. And in your presence, these tiny explosions of fear caused chaos in my thoughts, a stammer in my speech and an awkwardness that delighted your cruelty no end. At 8 years old, I could tell how drunk you were by the pace of your footsteps on the path, how angry by the sound of your breath, and I would lie stock still and listen through my skin, wince at every slap, every toxic word that you spewed, the air peppered with foul language in my head, filled with scenes I did not want to see. At 11 years old, I knew that my call was a cup slammed 3 times against the table. And I would rise from my bed, head racing, limbs heavy, and I would sit ramrod straight all night long sometimes and wait for the mind games to end and the slaps and the punches to begin, and I would imagine shooting lasers of hate at you, cartoon villain style. In my head, I watched you shrivel and beg for mercy that never came, and now it's almost as if those lasers have worked and I can't help it. I'm euphoric with the justice of it. In your absence, we didn't speak of it, the secret pushing at the walls of our house, making it impossible to breathe, and my mother rocking in the corner, long since lost all sense of self and function, and so it continued. Your games, your rules, our hell. At 15, I slept through my call, was torn from my bed by my hair and carried down the stairs, limbs flailing, but I would not cry. Within minutes, the violence was over. No mind games. And there has never been a sweeter lesson. I became manipulative, divisive, provocative, and within moments they would come blow after blessed blow, the violent sweet shock, a momentary respite from the necrotic wounds caused by your words. And this was my game now. These were my rules I had learned from a master. At 20, I fought back, verbally at first, and then physically, and then the night that changed everything. A mantle clock grabbed in my defence, and a poker grabbed in yours that lanced my side, this inky, leaking puddle that soothed me but made you flee. And later, in the hospital, I told a nurse, a doctor, a social worker, the police, the words delicious and victorious in my tongue. The following year is still a blur. I remember homelessness and a court case, a protection order, a fine, justice, safety. It has been 6 years. I am ready. Today, I will tell you that you had no business having children, that you wouldn't love, that you had no right. That even though every relationship where someone didn't abuse me felt like a white knuckle ride, I held on. I learned to give love and receive love. I learned to love myself. that your stupid little bitch has 3 first-class degrees, that all that she is and all she has achieved is in spite of you and not because of you. And I'm at the hospital now and I can't see you. Where are you? How dare you hide from me? You will not take this moment from me. I am ready. And then I hear a cup slam 3 times against the table. And I spin towards the sound, and there you are. And you are pitiful, childlike in stature, an octopus of tubes and wires and leads, and I can't move. Something swells and breaks within my chest, and all my words are gone, and all the air has left me. I look into blue eyes that mirror my own. I watch them glaze as your head falls heavily to the side, and in this moment, there are things that I know to be true with incomprehensible clarity. I have nothing but compassion for you. I forgive you. You are already gone, and I'm not ready. Thank you, Finn.
And silence there from around. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful, Catholic. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, okay. I'm going to move on now.
Got any tissues, Finn?
Yeah, wow, done it. Okay, sorry. Next up, follow that, sorry. Francesca Kirkpatrick. Yeah, sorry.
Hello, I got my mic on finally. I got this new thing that sort of is different to me. I got it yesterday. It came, those things they call portal for Facebook. So I can't see people's comments, so I have to be on another thing to see the comments. I just haven't figured this out. I don't think I'm gonna. Anyway, so this is about power. Power of being a woman. Power of not wanting to struggle in this world. Power of listening to others. Power of giving all your heart to the struggle. Power within your soul. You feel others try to gain the power from you as you try to hold on to your own life. You hear others take down your dreams, crumple them up like they're just a piece of paper. Oh, it's just another day. Oh, no, it's not another day. You have only today, because tomorrow is not promised. So please stand up and take your power. Use your voice. Love others. Write, encourage, and give all that you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you. Wow, but you can't see the comments. They're all going excellent stuff. Thank you. On topic 2. Okay, we're going to move on now. I think this is his first time. We've come across him before, especially across in Nashville. So would you please give a blotter's welcome to Henry L. Jones?
Oh, man. There's so much wonderful work. And yes, it has been my first time. I feel honored. I'm loving what I'm hearing. You guys are marvelous. And I want to share a couple of pieces with you. This first piece is a dedication to James Baldwin. And I wrote it during this writer's program called Artwire. And that was one of our assignments. And actually, I wrote this with a couple others, but this was, I guess, the favorite. And I connected, my whole attempt was to connect the history of lynching and what's going on in the streets today. Baldwin speaks of old and new lynches. When just above my head, a lynching, seeking relief from grieving eyes, leaking slowly in disbelief, racing hypertensive heartbeats, fear in my chest pounding loudly, beats to our African ancestors sounding like distant drums, awakening the deep slumber, listening to those ancient chants, scores of music that seem familiar. Dry branches applaud the wind, moving like praising to the one, clinging to old star notes coded, echoing on the Nile's currents. Catfish dance in death's muck. From Egypt to Mississippi woes, trying to find hidden bodies still. Wanting the sorrow to end now. Looking with blurry, heavy eyes, a sea of salty cries falling never dry. Will we ever mop up all the blood, staining history's pages crimson and black? Got some feedback here. Raising our children as Kwanzaa corn, missing still many snatched burned ears. They sizzle to the raging fire as they rise. Smoke twirling up signals pointing, showing children the way home. Searching for lost souls in limbo, knowing mass graves still hidden by the twisted hearts of demons. We only desire a fearless darkness. Counting the names in police records, watching the video footage of blue lies, allowing this rabid dog to storm free with desire to hunt more Black meat. Trumpet blows for a new Harriet glory, running through concrete and steel, telling weary people to keep moving. Mourning stunted minds she left behind to live on smiles and shuffle dances. When their butts get tired and cramped, twerking along to see another day, longing a white cloth savior loves them, reaching for threads tied to their necks, then thickens into a noose for a picnic. Erected another native son proud day, dragging flesh from the slave bones, hanging on plantation floors, rapes, castrating tails to stop the Black seed. Dry, thin lips shouted about new trophies. When stuffed heads hung on the walls, stirring old hunt memories for sons, climaxing semi-automatic penises shoot, emptying hatred onto dirty, lusty sheets. With uncovered heads and proud smiles, now screams about their rightful place, waving Confederate pride in the sun, standing their ground a fearless old glory, bringing loads of cotton for more flags to be made, hemp fibers to write a new constitution. When Baldwin, the old pastor's son, watching blacks pull the weave apart, revealing their frailty and strength, trapped naked beasts in the flower garden, clothed in sermons for marching papers. Around the world, loud outcries for justice, walking unstoppable waves of change, holding up signs for all to hear our voices, seeking proof of humanity to redeem. Now, the fire next time is freedom's glow. Thank you very much.
I'm applauding here and I unmuted myself. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. That was stunning. And another one that's really needed to be said too. Just great stuff. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. It's wonderful. Thank you. Okay. We carry on. Country hopping. Well, for me, we're going a bit south now. Got Wales and Rhoda. Rhoda Thomas. Rhoda.
Oh, I think I froze for a moment. This is called The Future is Another Country. The future is another country. I can only take certain things with me. My packing must be light so as not to weigh me or you down. I need books. I need to know history, so I don't make the same mistakes as those who went before. I need to make connection with the spirits of the past, who knew that women were not castrated men, but creatures who made choices, and that men might try to arrange things to suit themselves. Who knew that people will comply with the voice of authority, the uniform of the state, the fear of the truncheon, the crack of gunshot? Who knew that love is the only thing that can save us? The future is another country. I need to know my strengths, take an inventory. I can laugh, thank God, for in my laughter is the joy of drawing breath, and in my laughter is the reason for going on. I can cook. I can throw ingredients together, turmeric to save us from viruses, feverfew to calm headaches, mint to refresh and delight us, coriander seed on wafers made with honey to feed us. I can bring courage. I will hold your hand. I can walk ahead and step round the craters and the road humps and use my stick to fend off dangers. I can bring a determination to be beside you. And when we look out at the minarets and the domes and the murmurations of starlings, the tumblings of waterfalls and the rumbling of quakes, entreat me not to leave you. I want to be still there the morning after, when the struggle is over and the body count starts, sharing the wafers and making the coffee, talking with those whose losses legitimate the plans for a new world. Wherever you go, I will go, traveling light but strong. I will bring the hope that love can reach across the bitter pond, can heal the price we have to pay. Your world will be my world. Your people will be my people. Entreat me not to leave you, and in my choosing to be with you, the future becomes another country.
Well, thank you. Is that all you got for us? That's fine if it is. So I'm not forcing anything.
That's it for tonight, I think. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, Rhoda. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on, and we have back across the water, across the big ocean, to Brian, Generalissimo.
You startled me there, fan. I wasn't expecting to be called. I thought you forgot about me. That's okay.
No, I put it in the chat who's running, but I get everybody.
I know. I get in my own head, you know.
Yeah, that's okay.
Bear with me 2 seconds while I pull this up for us. Okay. Oh, yes. Let's do this piece that the first stanza is actually my submission to our multiple poet project. What's it called, Finn? I can't remember now.
Joined up writing. Is that a COVID project?
No, the joined up writing. The first stanza is the joined up writing, is what I put into joined up writing this year. And hold on, I lost it. It's got to be here somewhere. Here, sinkholes. Well, hold on. Here it is. shrinking wingback chairs, and credit card readers. The reality that part of everyone's history fades into oblivion is a bit sublime. Memories once strong in our minds, creating hurt and anger and confusion, are disappeared by a collective subconscious, stored in gray matter nooks and crannies, transformed into triggers, raring and ready to spray bullets of seemingly hidden personal trauma into the atmosphere of now. Your therapist gives you the option of sitting in a wingback chair with a perfect upright 90-degree back, or an overly cushy leather couch that makes you feel the need to nap. The one time you sat on the couch, you fell asleep. Instead of nudging your shoulder, she threw a throat pillow at your head. Your trust for her grew exponentially after the incident. When she runs your credit card through a white square attached to a cell phone, you are reminded that this conversation is a medical business transaction partially covered by insurance, but at least it's partially covered. You reluctantly share what she calls a breakthrough. The utterance of this loaded word loads the thought in your head that she has awarded you an esteemed honor, and there will be a plaque engraved with the date of each new breakthrough you make. But there is no plaque. Words like breakthrough are only good for the moment. She says there's a lot of work yet to do to move forward. You have homework you don't turn in, but it should turn your life right side in, as if you accidentally wore your shirt inside out and a barista mentions it to you, then you go into the bathroom to fix it. But life doesn't provide us personal baristas to expose our dilemmas and resolve it using a key attached to an espresso machine tamper. You will spend multiple sessions in that wingback chair, regurgitating your past and present to a person required by law to keep your confidence. When you have a brother that thinks sharing your personal information without your permission with anyone he pleases is his fraternal right, and your other brother won't get involved to not rock the proverbial family vote. So you wonder why your family can't allow you a semblance of privacy or familial confidentiality that should supersede what doctors, lawyers, shrinks, and clergy are obligated to give by law, and seem to only exist from your side of the relationship. At times, the mention of someone's name or the presence of a voice on your voicemail will set off a train of thought that seems to have an endless track that comes dangerously close to edges of cliffs and steams through avalanche zones that require the train to blow its whistle at maximum volume. It's as if you own an AK-47 with the safety superglued shut, but the trigger is activated by data wedged in a crevasse in the Siberian sector of your hippocampus, and no amount of industrial adhesive can keep the safety from slipping open and ruining a closet full of suits, shirts, and shoes. Triggers can activate anywhere: restaurants, Thanksgiving dinners, at work, movies, the opera, or while being frisked by the TSA. Triggers can be words or touches or food or good old-fashioned gaslighting. But because we own our triggers, we can walk away from situations, verbally call out gaslighters, or even tell someone something is a trigger. No one is worth your time or trouble if they claim triggers are cop-outs or say something like, be an adult and just suck it up. It's okay to swipe a piece of plastic for 50 minutes in a wingback chair for an educated ear that'll help you make sure the safety on your AK-47 doesn't have to be super glued. It can be stored in Siberia with the triggers, so you don't have to continually buy new closets of clothes. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Great. Always great. We're going to move on now. Such a full program. Still got another half dozen before we reach a feature point. Next up is a friend of mine who was the very first person when I announced Poets Fight the Power. She's, oh dear. Joe Gilbert, thank you.
Here's Ben. I've got a couple of poems that I can't decide what ones to do. Oh, okay, I'm going to do this one. So when I first wrote this poem, I wasn't really sure if it was a poem, and I didn't count where I was going with it. It just kind of made me really angry. So anybody who knows me knows that I do angry and sweary very well. It's called Dragonflies and Damselflies are dangerous beasties. On reading an article in the New Scientist on moorland hawker dragonflies, I wasn't expecting my veins to bubble out hot lava, piss, fizzing, wanting to spew rage at the first gammon I saw in the street, but that's how I felt after reading it. Let me elaborate. A male scientist observed this particular beastie behaving in a strange way. In an attempt to avoid the unwanted advances of a male hawker dragonfly, females drop out of the sky and pretend to be dead. Here's the scientific blurb. Scream if you want to get nerdy. Assuming a lifeless-looking mobile state to discourage a predator, tonic immobility, death feigning, or thanatosis is a technique employed by many animals, vertebrates and non-vertebrates, apparently. The female hawker dragonfly feigns mortification for two main reasons. One, her reproductive tract can be damaged by repeated copulation, and once a female has chosen a mate and been inseminated, gads, that's such a horrible word. Oh, inseminate me. If another male then follows suit, the original jizz is cleared out and replaced with the second dragonflies. In short, the female results in being forced to bear the rapist's babies. Kind of sounds like somewhere in America, doesn't it? Are we reflecting nature, or is nature reflecting us? Further on in the article, the scientist highlights that 27 out of 31 dragonflies tried the tactic. And of these, 21 proved successful, leaving only 6 instances where the dead female was still desirable enough for the male to attempt copulation. Only 6. Does nature reflect us, or do we reflect nature? I was surprised, reveals the man who has studied dragonflies for 10 years. I've been female for 45 years and I am not fucking surprised. The New Scientist called them ploys, that females only behave in this way if male harassment is intense. The use of this language made me fucking mad. I mean, how could she not? It's the language of asking for it, the language of rape trials and false accusations in the media. Male dragonflies be like, I mean, how could she not want this magnificent cock in her? Surely 'tis reward enough. No is the simple answer to that, just in case there's any confusion. Are we reflecting nature, or is nature reflecting us? Where's the mirror? The article ended in spectacularly misogynistic fashion, pointing out that using extreme tactics to resolve sexual conflict isn't unique to moorland hawkers. Oh no. Their damselfly relatives, for example, eat their partners in a bold and blue font, just to remind us that we deserve everything we get. Evil bitches who bewitch and provoke this behaviour in poor males. Remember, ladies and gentlemen and jelly beans, dragonflies and damselflies are dangerous beasties. This is where the expression playing possum originates from, the animal version of not tonight, dear, I've got a terrible headache. Don't get me started on this one. No human needs an excuse to refuse sex with anyone. Are we reflecting nature, or is it shining a light on us? The mirror, light here. Use your power to smash it. And I've got one more, that's okay, Finn.
Of course it is, Queen.
Right. Okay, this one is called The Young and Beautiful Brigade. They say the young and beautiful brigade are leading the digital age with their YouTube podcast sage advice on how to get your eyeliner right or how to contour for day or night so your selfie looks perfect. Any filter? Anytime. Back in my day, trout pouts were done in shop windows, and a lassie's main worry was how much pan stick she could flart on in a hurry to get out the door to meet her lad called Barry, who was inevitably wearing a shell suit and BKs. They say the young and beautiful brigade are all ready-made, pre-packaged beige clones with too much time on their days, more focused on Tidal than seeing real bands live. Facebook Live. Only for brownie points to check in and say I was there in that immortal online space, driven by the pace of next. No wonder young folk feel perplexed, send a message or a text instead of real-time conversations that can't be deleted or edited. A sentence is a sentence then. It can't be taken back once spoken, so rather than crack under pressure, stay online, constructing your life in the ether. I mean, who wants to live anyway? We're all rushing nowhere, aimlessly to the end of the world, but don't, for the love of internet life goals, forget to buy before you die. I'm getting old, but the young and beautiful brigade have a tougher deal than we ever did. Nothing was captured on camera. We got away with murder. We were fucking hardcore. Got more wasted and plastered. Far bigger things were less of a disaster, and we felt more free, less monitored, medicated, yeah, 100% dedicated to hedonism. And maybe that's part of the problem, where all this comes from, a generation of ecstasy creating babies of anxiety. But not to worry, there's an app for that, a pill for this. Every feeling can be dulled or fixed. No wonder everybody's feeling shit. We're trapped in our lives, but we're not living it. I say, the young and beautiful brigade are tired of being driven to be liked, shared, and admired. They're not spiritless sheep. They want to be fired up, to rise up and shake up this consuming society out of its haze into better days, unplug, join together to drive real change into streets and minds and communities. Let's engage in natural pleasures. Stimulate, not simulate. Tear off our labels and allow ourselves to feel the good, the bad, and the ugly, because that's where real beauty is found. It's not in a display or in a brigade. It's in art and music and love and pain. It's in you, it's in me, this elusive thing we seek. Let's share it right here in real time and be free. Who's with me?
Thank you, Joao. Great as always, Quine. Always great to hear you along. Thank you. Okay, we'll get a move on now. South of the border. Leslie Constable. Leslie.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm back. I had some audio problems and I got them sorted. So I will just read one tonight, and this is a bit of an older poem, but I like it. It's actually about the act of writing poetry. It's called The Seated Cloud. Thoughts that come to you, come into your head and rumble around or snake, insidious, The ones, you know these thoughts, the ones that have shape, their own structure and form, image, even music. It cannot be given voice, never that, because this asks too much, too much. Like clouds forming and shifting, disappearing and reforming, they are yours, fragile inside the workings of your mind, like when the sun hits cloud, fragile. They are amorphous, unheard, and deeply, deeply private. These ghosts of thoughts, your ghosts of ideas that form, wanting birth yet hide, wanting yet hide, waiting and want and wait and fear sometimes, these phantoms that cannot stand up to the proof of considered thought, that cannot stand up to language, cannot exist in the light of day, but only in containment. Is that what your life is? Is that who you are? No one knows but you. They are the formation, your thoughts, of clouds. They are the beginning. They are the seeds, clouds becoming rain. Or the easy words you say, words without clouds, when the sun is right up there, bold and over hot in the sky, even though you are in shadow. These words you say, forming them with your mouth, your tongue, your lips. Is this you? We can falsify, we can deny, we can withhold, hold deep into us those truths which have no form, but only words, or which have only form and not words, or words that won't form, and wait until forever for the true thought, override them with chit-chat, with the mundane, the inane, but there is that moment, yes, when the weight of necessity, the weight of insistence, the weight of our own truth, the need to get these damn things out of our heads and finally, deeply say, speak, talk, write, scream, get out, shapes, the constructs, the towers, the rivers, the pyramids, our islands, the bridges, explode them all and talk, write, be, make the bridge, use them, private ideas, public talk. You are the seeded cloud. You are the rain. Make us all wet.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad you managed to get your audio, and I had four Leslie Constables waiting in the waiting room at one point. You're all here now. Thank you.
Multiplicity.
You never have too many Leslies here, so thank you.
Yeah. Well, the team know how Guy at Curry did an emergency remote repair. So thank him.
Wonderful stuff. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
We're going to move on now. We're wearing into the feature point, then the break. Please welcome David Lee Morgan. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. I was going to do a Christmas poem, but I think you said you have another one of these things coming up before Christmas. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I haven't got it done yet, but it's the 20th of December. Who can make it? We're having a Poets Christmas party, so it's going to be a bit more, whatever, you know.
Okay. Well, I'll do something else then and save that for
okay.
Christmas. What is to be done? The revolution will not come until it has pierced your heart, until every cruelty and injustice, no matter who it is done to, feels as if it were done to you. Until you are naked, open wide, wounded by every homeless cry, a mother to every hungry child, a native son to every tribe, stranded in the forest flame, swallowing smoke and tears of rage, running from the thunder of a helicopter gun. The revolution will not come. Until your back aches and the sun bakes you and the pain breaks you, until every minute of your life hurts and the ripe fruit falls down into the dirt because your fingers and your bones and your brain are numb. The revolution will not come. Until every cop car is looking for you, for what you are, not what you do. And you stand on the earth branded by the wrong accent, the wrong color skin, the wrong sexuality, the wrong mother tongue, too fat, too thin, too old, too young. The revolution will not come. until you walk the street bearing unwanted seed, condemned to breed by men who call you girl and think they bloody own the world, until you stare up into the hate-filled face of a rapist, when you can smell his breath, taste the rancid kiss, when your stomach twists in anger and disgust, when you can feel all this as if it were done to you. It's not enough, because the revolution will not come until it has made you wise. So what if you hate injustice? So what if you're willing to die to make a change? It's not enough to be brave, not even enough to love, unless love leads to wisdom when push comes to shove. So you learn to read books and faces. You study what gender and race is. You look at science and the economy at every class and group in society. You study the past, but you don't live in it. You don't worship it. You don't pick through the rubble for a lost God to believe in. You read history not with a branding iron, but a blowtorch. You are not a king. You are not a priest. You are not singing in the bloody choir. You are the fire that burns through history. Your genealogy is written in the ashes of burnout villages, crucified slaves, weavers chained to their looms, heretics burned at the stake, screaming out the truth. How many thousands of years of fighting each other over the never enough, one class after another rising to the top and beating back down everyone else with laws and religion and bullets when you don't listen? How many thousands of years of system after system and always the same fundamental division? You work, they rule, but you are more than just a talking tool. Let the revolution be your school. Study the connections, and you begin to see the chains of slavery or chains of power too. They connect you to an army of the dispossessed, and it's an army you will need, because the revolution will not come until it has made you strong. Power is a good thing. Try living without it. But without a doubt, it divides into two. The power to win is the power to lose. Power is nothing but the power to choose. It's only as good as how you use it. But never forget, you are not begging for mercy. You are fighting for power. How will you break free of the ingrained habits of a lifetime? How will you gain control of your own minds? How will you bring it together to set off a chain reaction? And if you win, how will you fight off the armies that come to crush you? And if you win, how will you feed the world? And if you win, how will you carry through? How will you free the world? Be leaders who know how to be led. Be teachers who know how to be taught. Revolution is a war that has to be fought. They got the guns and the weapons of mass communication. You got the power to the people that comes with organization. You got the power to the people, but you better believe they hate it. If you give them a chance, they'll break it. You know, it's only as good as you make it. You got the power to the people. Are you ready to take it?
Wow, thank you. Wow, power. Wow, powerful, power. On the spot. Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us. I think it's your first time at the Blot as well, right, David?
Yeah, it is. Not my in Scotland, but
yeah, well, welcome to Scotland. Where it's, I think, looking out, that's about -2 out here tonight. So it's we're all cozy together. Thank you. Okay. Next up, first time reader here as well, I believe, Catrice Greer.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hey.
I'm going to do, I don't know what I would call them, but I'm going to call them song poems, and I'm going to do 2 of them. The first one is an allegory. It is about an orchard of oranges, but it's an allegory for aging and desire and being chosen and not being chosen and sensuality. Ready to go. In the orchard they hang, swaying in the morning's breath, long since ripened, dry puckered rinds leathered, turning on the nub, drinking the dawn and the dew, each one swaying. Pick me, pick me. These waters run deep, running free. Pick me, pick me, pick me in the sun. Pick me when the day's done. Which one? Oh, pick me. These waters run deep, running, running free. Pick me, pick me. This one, nimble, peeling back its pebbled skin, hiding the sheathed face of her fruit, unthreads the pith, gentle, gentle, each ribbon strand spinning gold, setting her free from imprisoned rind, pulling back stubborn membranes, the opaque veil of her sectioned, despite embittered seeds. She is there, swimming, juiced, shedding her skins, her fruity soul skinless, dripping, cradled in the lush grasses sprung to hold her up. The fall was a jump. She chose herself. These waters run free, running, running deep. Oh, pick me in the sun when the day's done. Pick me, taste me, drink me. Okay, thank you. That was Pick Me. And so the second poem is a Mer song. I wrote it for a fellow poet when they had a launch or a celebration of his work recently. And his name is Ank, and he's from New Zealand. So anyway, this is a Mer song, so to speak, and it's a story. So bear with me. She was unlike the others. She did not lure them in. Their wild-eyed, fallen overboard distress with her barnacle-encrusted teeth and her sonar song rippling a watery echo, call and response. Theirs a siren song, hers, her voice in the shadows. They sang, "Which way shall you go, my love?" She sings, "This way. Come, come." The sirens sing, "Which way shall you go, my love?" Here. And she echoes, "I shall take you home. I shall take you home where love is, where love is, where love is." Shells braided in her seaweed hairs, coral necklace laced, a signpost of safety for them to see. In the corners of their closed spirit eyes, when they fall overboard, lost in the deep waters, drifting, looking for an anchor, a portal, a cosmic door to Elysium, a place of peace on a current, fishy-tailed, her scales breathing kaleidoscopes and rainbows. She led the lost into deeper, dry-mouthed caves, unwatered, to save them in the void of the dead spaces, their spinning float cocooned in her call, lulling them to their funerary, a sandy bottom floor, their watery rest. Leagues under playing dolphins, leagues under manatees, tucked under the living dark. A dream, a dream. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Catrice. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And that was a dream listening to you. Thank you. Beautiful stuff. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on. Calling up next is the Poetry World's latest slam winner. Please welcome Gerard Kell.
Hi. I was just wondering whether to do jam or Trump. So I think I'll do Trump. If I can just get it. So we live in a multiverse, we're told, in which there are worlds which are similar but different. And this is a poem about this. It's called The Idiot. I saw Donald Trump at the shelter. He was wearing that yellow baseball cap, but his trousers stank. And the slogan on his rim was just some jerk-off line that he'd picked up off one of those TV evangelists or positive thinking gurus. I felt kind of sorry for him, what with his endless optimism and the things he puts on Twitter, which no one reads except for his warped compatriots down in their semen-soaked basements. You're not a teenager now, I said to him in the queue to get in, but it's like talking to an idiot. He poked me in the chest and he nearly lost his place, but I told the other winos to get in line. It was then he leaned in and said, in another life, I'd be president of this whole crappy country. In your dreams, I said, and someone laughed. I think it was Melania. I'd like to get in your knickers, he shouted, but she put up a finger and that shut him up. They go for him in a big way. I mean, the ones who can't see that it's all about swagger when they haven't got any. I was saying to a couple of them over the free handout lunch we give them with a cup of coffee, it's all about the way you're treated. It's about jobs and homes and services. You have to join together and demand your rights. He drops his whole furry mop into the soup and brings up his face and says, look in my eyes, you morons. Can't you see I'm what you want to be? He's mad, of course, harmless, eccentric. He just doesn't help. I left him with beans all over his face and returned to the counter. You'll never do anything with him, said Martha. She's black and resigned to guys like that. I can try, I said. Don't bother, it isn't worth it. He's got his tongue out and he's pulling carrots from his hair while everyone's laughing. I say to Martha, in another universe, he'd be leader of the free world. That's what he told me. And she says, him and a black man before him. Don't mock me, I tell her. I'm not, she says, but she is really. She's making her way in the world. Me, I want to help everyone. He's got a swagger, I'll give him that. And even Melania turned her head when he goes out the back and pukes onto the sidewalk. It just makes you wonder to yourself, should you keep propping up someone who's so self-destructive, so in love with their own ego? Anyway, he's banned now, which makes him someone else's problems. When you've got things to do, people like him just get in the way. It's the Marthas of this world who make a difference. Not that someone like him is ever going to appreciate that. I keep trying. I suppose it's what you've got to do in the world. But it's hard not to give up on people like Donald Trump. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. That was great. That was an interesting take on things there. Moving on now. Someone else absolutely brilliant. I admire him not just for his work, at the very fact he just announced that he's memorized something like a 35 million word poem. That's an exaggeration, but anyway, more than I can do. Michael Wilson, thank you. Unmute yourself, Michael.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Right. Closing time. Death is talking with life at a bar. A bartender is in attendance. And somewhere built like a ship's galley, but then the place changes every hour or so. The regulars don't. Death is berating life over a large gin. Neat, of course. Death is saying, all people want to talk of life are the Saturday fixtures and the current affair between the notable name and the other. Where, asked Death, is the talk of old, of coffee house politics and the ways of man? The noise in the bar reached a mercurial point as life cleared his throat and put down his bitter in one of those old-timey glasses, the type that can crown a man. Life said, ask the bartender. He knows better than you or I. The bartender, who'd been squeaking a glass clean, placed his discloth down, said in a voice like 1,000 conversations, I've seen him come and I've seen him leave. I've heard things you could not fathom, deepest diamond minds spoken in terms as simple and as shallow as teaspoons. They talk day and night in shallow chapter and verse to ease themselves from the shackles of feelings that haunt them, like hangovers, the quiver in the edges of their minds, the charge that each of you put on them, both of you. Cradle and grave both have their toll, so never say those words to me. So life, all happy drunk, flipped the barman a golden coin for his trouble that sailed easily through the hole in the barman's hand and rang upon the bar. Closing time. Thank you. Okay, this one is really something we're all missing at the moment, but it'll come back eventually. It's called Gig, or How to Live Precariously Through Your Previous Selves. The dance floor will be smoky as sinful, but this is 2015. The edge is a little worn off. Frayed tiles, soft smiles drenched in drink. The bar dispatches shots of tonic wine for pennyworth a pound. The PA punches above its weight, running through with sound. The floor gathers momentum, and I'm part here, part 95, 96, and so on. Every year, every reasonable season till now, because when I'm happy, each gig is a gatefold for so many older gigs in my present set of skin. The band walk on, button cute. Teenagers cool in shades and suits, and the place kicks back by kicking off. And the cheers and whoops and churning grins, and for me it's university again. Sticky floors, student union, it's festival tents, and the smell of hot earth and strands of dope smoke. It's a Ritz, and the Retro, and the Apollo. It's a spotlit space and a drop thought slipped of work assignments on Monday morning. It's only a gig, but happiness folds time, the opposite mirror of all sludging into one rhyme. There's angles and shapes under colored light for light to bounce off. A triptych of a reflection of that forever singing line that comes in at the end of a repeating lead solo that races. It won't save your life, but it will color the spaces. It won't kill all strife, but it soothes wounds and bends back the knife. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, gigs. Who remembers them? Wow. Okay, one more before feature point. Please welcome back about regular Christine Father. Thank you.
Hi, Finn. This first poem is one I've done in a sort of Gaia series. And Gaia is the name that James Lovelock give the planet in the theory that the Earth interacts with both living and inanimate objects in a synergistic way to maintain the condition for the life. So this is about Gaia's message to humanity. It's called Gaia's Cry. Feel my sorrow, feel my pain when you ravage me again. Feel my anger, feel my rage as war on me you wage. See my scars, see my shame as you leave me forever maimed. See my torn body, see my life's blood as you grind me in the mud. Hear my thunder, hear my lightning crack as a result of all your attacks. Hear my heart beat, hear it thud. Soon it'll be my turn to grind you in the mud. Know my purpose, know my mind. You are truly not mankind. Know my rancor, know my plans. I will never give in to your demands. Taste my bile, taste my sweat. No, I never will forget. Taste my vengeance, taste my strength. I will go to any length. I am Gaia, I am your home. Now please take this warning and leave me alone. That's the first one of the series. The second one is called Gaia Revenge, and I wrote it during the lockdown in March. I warned you, but did you cease or stop? No, you were prepared to let me, your planet, rot. Now my patience is at an end. I'll use this virus as my friend. I'll make you change your ways as your numbers fall day by day, and still I'll make you stop and think. But will you remember when my friend has gone, or will you forget and carry on? No more mourns will I provide. Continue as you are, and there will be no place for you to hide when the horsemen of the apocalypse ride. The second one of those. The last one is one I wrote last week, and it's about power, but a different aspect of power. It's called Witch Magic. Magic and power I bestride. I love that dangerous nighttime ride. The magic rhymes I do tell release the powers in my spells, but not for me, the hedge which be my power demands a much higher fee. The mother, the maiden, and the crone, their power embedded in my bones. When at midnight I do fly, I make the lightning flash in the sky. Thunder rolls to mark my passage as the countryside I ravage. Man's power is naught beneath my gaze, as in magic I do bathe. I claim my power as a witch, I hold it firmly in my grip. Not for me to be what I'm not, that would have me tied up in knots. I live in magic every day, and that is how I intend to stay. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Okay, we've reached sort of the halfway point in things. Now, for you, people who's new to Blot, it is a long one. But I can't cut it short because everybody likes the whole thing being this long. We're going to come to our feature point now. Ahmad has got a book out called Sodom and Tomorrow. I'm sure he'll put the link in the chat at some point. He's a Welsh writer of colour and winner of Rethink Your Mind poetry competition, been highly placed in other competitions. He's got various works in poetry journals and in 18 poetry anthologies. So, will you please give it up for Des Manet?
Hello, am I audible there now?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So In which case, brothers and sisters, we face the ultimate existential question. Did you spill my fucking pint? Things are all right when you're in the fight. No time to think, can't even blink. Punches to throw, dodge the next blow. Stick in the boot, chairs to uproot, tables to follow, no time to wallow in self-pity because life is shitty. Throw some more punches, fighting like by hunches. It's like painting by numbers, except for the numbness. There's blood on your clothes. Where from? Fuck knows. The blood's not from you, it's the other man's due as it seeps through his skin. Ain't you glad it's from him? There's no point in holding back. Just continue to attack till the man spattered in red has finally fled. It's the thinking man's food and the angry man's brood. Yes, it's food for thought, the lesson you're taught. That in the end, nothing really has changed. Just a few faces have been rearranged. Thank you. The next poem I'm going to do is the news recently has been about how it's 30 years since Thatcher fell on his sword. And so the next poem is going to be about the riot that led to Thatcher's downfall. This is, it was 1990. It was a time when all tyrants fell, east and west, and apartheid disappeared in South Africa. This is based on a song made famous by The Clash. This one's called We Fought the Law Back, which I usually have a guitarist to do this with, but I'm going to be doing it a cappella, or with my voice crap-a-cappella. The poll tax riot was a lot of fun because we fought the law back and we won. The poll tax riot was a lot of fun because we fought the law back and we won. We fought the law back and we won. A big fat pig came on the news at 10 and said, I think we lost it a bit. I taped it on a video so I could see again. Thatcher's boot boys turned to shit. The cops all wanted a riot and they got one because we fought the law back and we won. The cops all wanted a riot and they got one because we fought the law back and we won. Someone shouted, burn South Africa house. Apartheid's bunker's already on fire. Pissed off kids forced the cops all back and the flames grew higher and higher. The poll tax riot was a lot of fun because we fought the law back and we won. We fought the law back and we won, and there was no future, no future, no future for Thatcher. And there's no future, no future, no future for Thatcher. And now we don't care because Thatcher's body is pretty vacant. And Thatcher's body is pretty vacant and we don't care. Thank you very much. The next one is going to be a BLM poem. It's called Shots. Daddy's been shot sitting in a car by one of America's finest. He's a rising star. Get out the car, walk backwards. That's what the cops all shout. Daddy doesn't process this in time to get out. The cop busts a nut in a sexual high. It's the same emotion that sends a man to die. Daddy sits there bleeding, sitting in a car. Next to him, a child now has a mental scar. The child starts wailing, teardrops on black skin. As he realizes his world is fading in. When you shoot the father, you kill the child too. When he becomes an adult, he might shoot you. Thank you very much. The next one I must dedicate to my grandfather, who was a member of the Kru tribe from Liberia in Africa, and he moved to Cardiff at the turn of the century and survived the race riots. Without him, I wouldn't be here. And this is about as a sort of journey through my sort of childhood and my life as somebody from mixed heritage or from a multicultural background. And we choose our heroes where we can. One of mine was Ali, so this is on the death of Muhammad Ali. Goodbye, butterfly. You stung like a bee. You stung me. From you, I learned resistance to all the nigger, pull the trigger playground taunts. I could reply, come on, Bugner. The kids at school never listened to Blue Mink. They didn't know that what we needed was a great big melting pot. My parents did. They had me. The Ugandan Asian crisis hit, and I became called a Paki overnight because Enoch was right and I should go back to where I came from, even though I was there already. And to some Asian kids, I was just a gorry. And the white girls didn't stay too long because they didn't want to be called dog meat by their peers. Shove thy neighbor. So tell me what the hell is the color of rug, love? And the Rastas wore Wales football tops. They were red, gold, and green. To them, I was a threat also. Babylon. I could not go back to Africa, a place I'd never been. And my heroes all spoke perfect English. Sidney Poitier, CLR James, the old ladies in Cardiff Docks told me about Africans when they came, how tall they were, how smart they were in top hats and spats and canes. And my granddad was a crewman. Then he joined a crew. He sailed and settled in the Bay of Tigers, raised a family. And my father was a half-caste, that's what they said back then. And he would sing calypso as he did the washing up, but said, Jamaicans were Johnny-come-latelys. As I got older, boundaries blurred, bigotry rescinded like the tide, and I became exotic. Amerindian, Latin American, because of long straight black hair and melanin darkened skin. Myth-making identity yet again. And I don't know where I come from, but you don't know where I'm going. But I do worry that the tide is coming in again. And sometimes I really do feel like throwing my hands up in the air. So goodbye, butterfly. You have spread your wings and I have been stung by the world. Thank you. The next poem from me is, I used to do something simple. Sometimes I look at you and think, just dreaming really. Then I listen and my heart starts to sink. When you pour out your troubles, I want to drink your heart, but that's locked away with all the special things for special occasions, like crockery and silverware. I'm the invisible man in your estimation, but I'm real and I'm here and I care. When things go well, you run straight past me to greet a lover. But when things go wrong and there is no other, you can find me tired and alone. The remote console. Thank you very much. I think I've got time for, is it just one more now, Finn?
Sorry, I'm unmuted. Yeah, one more will do fine. You're perfect for that. Thanks, Des. Thank you.
Brilliant. This one has never been done before. It's another sort of look back at my sort of mixed heritage family. This one, first time ever performed anywhere. It's called No Flames to Tinder. Find people aren't that into me, see? Mother warned I had to tell girls dad was black. Not what people want to hear first date. Confession leads to awkward silence. Know why mum told me this. Sister and boyfriend never told his parents. Mother recalls the look, horror on their faces when met for wedding plans. Thought she was Italian, not even Catholic. See method in the madness. These days, I find people just aren't that. Intimacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Unmute everyone. A big round for Des. Thank you for coming, sir. That was just perfect.
An amazing set.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. It was
Thank you.
We called this Poets Fight the Power because I knew Des was coming on and his stuff is powerful and he's always trying to fight that shit. So go there. Thanks you, Des. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Okay, we're going to move swiftly on. Yeah, we never know what we're going to get, but we all love them. Gary, please take the screen.
Thinking, just give me 5 minutes, go to the next person.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a break, so I haven't got my hair.
Yes, there's just so many people tonight. We're not going to have a break, so if you don't mind. Okay, we'll move on then. We'll come to you. We'll come back to you after the next one, okay? Give you a chance to get all your bits and bobs ready. We know you like preparing. Right, we're going to go now. I've got the list back up yet to another Blot from the Blue newcomer. He's still here. I can see him. When I came across him the last time, whenever it was at a Zoom show, he was in Georgia, not the state of Georgia. Yeah, he's perking up. As I don't know where he is now, if he's back home in Poland or wherever he is. Please give it up for Dia Dealist Chaos. Thank you.
No, I'm still in Georgia for, well, we'll see. We're locking down again, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, funny. No, this is way too new. I was just writing a new poem. It was like satirizing neo-Nazis and stuff, but it's definitely not done, so I'll put that to the side. Okay, I get 5 minutes, yeah? All right. The soft whispers of your presence beckons me. Your gentle hisses arouse my spirit out of its idle days, moving my feet in the direction of our predetermined rendezvous. I resist your calls at first, but your ritual always breaks through a few walls of my fortress despite all the renovations I've attempted over the years. I really should get a professional. This dominating partner consumes my well-being when she's in the mood. Crossing the sea of tranquility, ready to storm my castle, raiding and pillaging caches of self-belief, lighting me up using flames of despair, leaving only a hollow shell of me. Back to relying on the misleading summons of the ever-present siren who calls me to meet her once again on our favorite bridge. Your joy overwhelms us both, as the tears you shed mystifies my once firm beliefs, and as you will it, I place my hands on the bar, established to keep me from endangering myself. Or maybe these rails were fixed here to keep me from pushing beyond this bridge, forcing me to tread one way or the other as preordained. Your rain descends upon me as I stare into the chasm below, closing my eyes, feeling myself lean over and plummet, shedding every sense of loss, confusion, and regret as the call from the abyss grows loud. I fall faster and faster, but then a small smirk, I open my arms wide, and then so that's one poem. And then I'll end it with a nice little performance. Don't you know? I run this place. I've begun this race. I'm the reason it's become this way. I'll remind you of what you don't have. I'm the one who gave you your power, and you know how easily I can just take it back. You love my darkness. You hide your heart. It's funny the things you do as you grow more and more heartless. It's your insecurities that fuel me, and my power has lasted millennia and some centuries, where I am the American dream. I'm the British nightmare. We run on similar themes. While you Brexit on out of here, I just laugh at the scene with the rise of extremists and nationalists. It's plain to me I no longer need to control you by these strings, for I am the very essence of your being. I speak every single language on the planet. And no matter how well you manage to hide, there's no rock haven or cave that can just blanket you from my influence. I'm the reason you want your country back. I made you believe that the scariest colors in the world are brown and black, while you're busy marching in my name chanting Polska, dla Polaków, while your own cousins are getting threatened and kicked off the British Isles by similar white smiles. It's I that thrives on the inept. You know, the very people who can see everybody's evil except for what lies within. While you shoot up your clubs, schools, and churches under my influence, but you never lock those kids up because they're way too affluent. It's your inaction that gives me traction. I am always near. Now, let us pray. Because you know, I just need one more death in my name, for the whole world to know who it is that guides your very actions. So go ahead and say, I am your fear.
Performance. Wow. Thank you, sir. Thank
It's
you.
always so fun to do.
Oh, that was great. Thanks for coming. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
No problem. It's a pleasure. Anytime, anytime. Okay. Moving on. Are you ready now, Mr. Gary?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's foodie night tonight. Take it away.
I told you, 1989, I met Flavor Flav and Chuck D. We went shopping in the Happy Spa. So, and 2 years ago, I met George Clinton, the heroes of funk. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to fight the power. This is a trigger warning. There is offensive foul language, talk of anarchy, and some really bad rhymes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, Fight the Power. Yeah, I said, ladies and gentlemen, let's ease it. 2021. Yes, I am the rhythm. I am the rival, the triple, the lyrical perpetrator. 2 times 10 plus 1. Yes, 2021. Done. I am the truth maker. Brothers and sisters, I see you join me together. And say it louder and let's be kinder. Fight the power. We're on a cliff edge. Reach out to the person next to you. Reach out and support your neighbor. One falls, we all fall over. Fight the power, fight the power. Thin hole, just hit me. I'm not even going to chat about racism. Those who have the paper power ridicule me, that I'm public enemy number 1. But it's all the problem is a systematic grey-suited institution. Hey, look at me. I'm like Moses, found my choice of pen in the wilderness. The pen is mightier than the sword. That's my drummer shitting over my words. Fight the power, fight the power. Brothers and sisters, I say it loud and be kinder. We are the storm in our thunder. Listen to this. Right, clear. I am part of the underclass and I'm homeless. Now you didn't get it. Listen again. I am part of the underclass and I'm homeless and it's Christmas and I'm sleeping in the doorway of Marks and Spencer's. Done. You know that's a rhyme. I'm living in the doorway of the Marks and Spencer's. I was sitting in the tube station, Westminster 213. You know what happened? They just walked on by. 213 people died last year at this tube station, right by where our Static Street MPs. So all they did was walk on by. Hold on. They just looked and paced and say, right, if you see me sleeping in the door, just walk on by. Walk on by. Once again, if you see me sleeping rough in the street and I'm starving and want something to eat, walk on by. Make believe that you don't see my tears. Just let me grieve. In private, I piss myself each time I see you. Just walk on by. I can't stop going, achoo! As I'm seeing we're broken. I've got the flu. Walk on by. For this body is all I have left under this sleeping bag. So let me hide the tears and sadness and the €1 you gave me. Then you said I smell and you say goodbye. Walk on by. Fight the power. What is trending? While the corporate world got Banksy on the walls, masturbated. Shares are down, VAT on tampons and single mother's diapers. I'm going through a bad period, says Boris. Get your finger out of the can and get your finger out of your fiance. Tackle the virus. Your missus is like Mrs. Bouquet. Up her own ass and got nothing to say. Fight the power. This bit's for Gerald. Gerald, you listening? Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Johnson? Who's run the country now? Cummings has gone. We all know that your fiance is to blame, that you don't get no say. Fight the power. Where is the PPE? Stuck on an airplane somewhere in Turkey. Have a word with your fiance. Fight the power. Come on, you kingmakers. Who do you think is running the country? Don't panic, Captain Marine. Fight the power. Guess what? Listen here. I've got to tell you something really close to my heart. I am an addict. Yes, I am an addict. I'm addicted to single-use plastic. Help the world in recovery. And no escape that Betty Ford clinic. Recycle your toilet paper to protect the ozone layer. Listen to Greta. The world won't be here forever. Make the corporates walk and save the earth future. Fight the power. Say it louder. You are the storm. I am the thunder. Fight the power. There's, just 1 minute. Let me just drop it lower. I'm praying to Almighty for world peace treaty. This is my dream, to have all you at the world's biggest party. More than dancing in the street with Martha Reeves and Vandellas. Because we are one nation, but in one Zoom under a good, getting down just for the fun of it. The world is divided. The haves and the have got nothing to say. 49.51 USA, 48.52 the UK. I'm sad to say there's just one thing that what's going. They're putting pineapple on pizza. Who does this atrocity? Is it you? Is it you who puts the pineapple on the pizza? Please, Lord, forgive them. They don't know what they do. Help them fight the power. Say it louder. Be kinder. Peace.
Woo! Gary, storming as usual, sir. Thank you. Love how you get into the whole theme of the evening, just 100% all the way through, whatever it is. Thank you.
I'm boiling. I've got to change, man.
Coach, you always do that, man. You over-costumize yourself.
I was a size 14. I'm now looking great with great legs as a size 6.
Yeah, God knows what you're going to do for a Christmas special then, huh?
Oh. Thank you, guys. I've been writing love poems all week, so I just need to let some go. I wouldn't say let some hair go, but that happened last week. All right, cheers. Goodbye. Fabulous.
Thanks once again. And applause for Gary. Thank you. Okay, moving on now. We're going across to Canada to Jeff Cottrell.
Oh, I'm right here. Just give me a second.
Yep.
Sorry, I must have missed the list in the chat or something. There we go. Okay, so this one, I guess this is less about fighting the power than thumbing your nose at the pompous. This is a new piece, new shit, called the Canadian Book Awards. Welcome, one and all, to the Canadian Book Awards for 2020. The Canadian Book Awards serves to award the books that the Canadian literary establishment likes. We seek to promote Canadian values and Canadian themes to which all Canadians relate in a perfectly Canadian way, in Canada. Our first prize at the Canadian Book Awards this year goes to When Crying Bears Shudder in the Wind, which is a quiet, subtle coming-of-age story about the immigrant experience in the slums of Toronto. Our second prize at the Canadian Book Awards for 2020 goes to The August of Her Soul, which is a quiet, subtle coming-of-age story about the immigrant experience in the Westmount neighborhood of Montreal. Our third prize for 2020 at the Canadian Book Awards goes to The Raspberries Are in Season Again, Papa, a quiet, subtle coming-of-age story about the immigrant experience in rural Saskatchewan. Our fourth prize this year at the Canadian Book Awards is going to Verily Must the Watchmen Leer at Sunset, a quiet, subtle coming-of-age story about the immigrant experience in the downtown East Side area of Vancouver. The Canadian Book Awards also has a category for poetry. Our first prize for poetry at the 2020 Canadian Book Awards goes to With Vulnerable Roses Do I Sweep the Curtained Walls, a collection of quiet, subtle coming-of-age poems about the immigrant experience in St. Thomas, Ontario. And seeing that we have some extra time, let us go over the list of books that are not getting any recognition from the Canadian Book Awards. We are not giving a prize to that popular book about the space aliens and the serial killer who terrorize an affluent suburb. Nor are we giving any awards to that fascinating experimental short story collection that breaks new ground in structure and language. The Canadian Book Awards is also not giving a prize to that really funny book that viciously satirizes timeless universal human foibles, nor to that scathing character study that takes bold artistic risks, nor to that passionate historical romance with the vivid war scenes, nor to that sprawling epic about the eccentric family that changed the world, nor to that moving, tear-jerking story about the boy and the dog and the mysterious stranger. And we are definitely not giving a prize to that quiet, subtle coming-of-age story about the immigrant experience in the suburbs of Halifax, but which is also very entertaining. Good God, no. That completes the list of all the books that were published in Canada this year. To close this year's ceremony, we present our annual series of Lifetime Achievement Awards. Our first 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Margaret Atwood. Our second 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award also goes to Margaret Atwood. Our third 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award is a tie, a four-way tie between Michael Ondaatje, Shane Koizan, Paul Vermeersch, and Margaret Atwood. Our fourth 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award goes to the rotting corpse of Leonard Cohen, which we have dug up just for the honor. To commemorate this award, we are delighted to treat you to a special musical performance, an exclusive 4-hour and 23-minute version of Mr. Cohen's Hallelujah, performed on the ukulele by Margaret Atwood. Thank you for attending the 2020 Canadian Book Awards. Every one of our attendees will receive a generous gift bag of craft dinner, hockey pucks, and winter depression. Go Leafs!
Yeah, so I'll dig there and let your favourite Leonard Cohen song at the end, not, huh? Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Cheers.
Right, moving on now back across this side, we're going to welcome here, I think first time at the Blot as well, Mr. Brian Beady Man Wilson. Big hat.
Hello. It's really not fair put me after Jeff Control. It's really not. I don't know what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to do two pieces. The first one, it sort of reminds me how far I've come from in the last 10 years, probably, with really bad mental health and stuff. So it's called I'm a Damaged Man. And I wrote this about 10 years ago. So I like to read it every now and then to remind myself where I was and where I am now. I'm a damaged man. So it would seem. Often I seem jovial as I drunkenly clown and preen, but oftentimes I'm introverted, as examining my own mortality, loves, lost friends, past transgressions, family, but most of all me. I'm a damaged man. This really is the case. It's as though Tears of a Clown was written for me with this painted smile upon my face, when inside I'm feeling broken, as though there's something missing in me. Sometimes I feel wanted around others, yet at times feel so alone in company. I'm a damaged man. It just happens to be true. I overthink each and every action and overanalyze that which I'm told to be true. I can be easily frustrated and quite short-tempered too. I'm always confused by the hurtful things that others say and do. I'm a damaged man. There's no disputing this. Love, affection, hate, joy, pain are also hit and miss. I'm overtly sensitive, like there's an imbalance in my mind, always searching for answers that I know I'll never find. I try to help others if I'm able and genuinely care for my fellow man, but I'm more often than not in this life on my own, for I am a damaged man. And the second one is called Santa Must Come from a Council Estate. And it goes like this. So here we all are. It's Sunday night with Finn Hall, like a bolt from the blue. I thought I'd do something a tad different, but I wasn't too sure what I'd do. It's true. I weren't too fussed about what time I'd be on or even how to get here because we're on Zoom. No stress about getting back in time for bed. After all, I'm in my front room. So I thought this to myself. We are deep into the second last day of November, so what more apt than a Christmas poem? My gift to you all, just remember that. Santa must come from a council estate. It's something I hold to be true. He only works once a year and there ain't much he can do. His closest of companions always has a bright red nose, which tells me that somewhere along the line alcohol's involved. He gets all of the latest fads and designer gear and is a persistent offender, breaking and entering year after year. He's constantly receiving letters demanding what he owes and uses a lot of aliases. Why is that, do you suppose? Constantly avoiding detection as he ghosts around at night, always clad in a todgy outfit that just don't seem right. So listen up, people. Come closer. Just between me and you, Santa comes from a council estate. It's something I hold to be true. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And I come from a council estate too, so it's great.
So do I.
Okay, next we have a lot of newcomers tonight, and this next person, if I think I'm right, originally comes from Bulgaria and now lives in Finland. And I hope I pronounced her name right, Diliana Stoyanova. I got that right?
Close enough. It's Diliana Stoyanova. But thank you for making an effort. But it is spelled Diliana. I'm sorry to be anal about it, but all of my social media accounts are spelled like this.
I know, got to get your name spelled right, of course.
Yes, I have written a poem just about my name, but today I wanted to share something that I started writing this summer, which is about my country. And it's about foreign tourists visiting Bulgaria. Bulgaria is a small country in Southeastern Europe, and you will hear some words in there which are not in English, but they're only place names. So there's no need to translate them or to explain. So just know that those are place names. So this is called Our Adamant Names. Adamant Names, sorry. I never learned how to ski. My country has mountains and snow, but ordinary Bulgarian people cannot afford to go skiing because holiday resorts have been built to cater to foreign tourists who cannot be bothered to learn to pronounce the name of the place they visit. I never learned how to swim well. My country has beaches and lakes, but ordinary Bulgarian people cannot afford to go to the holiday resorts built to cater to foreign tourists who cannot be bothered to learn to pronounce the name of the place they visit. Our land is a tired graveyard, punctured with concrete open tombs with glass windows hugging zombies, bodies shuffling back and forth between eating the soft fruits torn from the body of the mother to eating the ground itself, gobbling space, unsatiated with the land you live on. You wanted a cheap holiday abroad to a place you cannot be bothered to learn to pronounce. And we cut her. We cut the ground and cook it to make it tender and tasty for you. We spread her out and tied her down so that you can have your way, and she weeps. Soft, quiet tears that do not stick to your skin. She weeps in landslides and wildlife extension that does not make your news. your cheap holiday advertisements, and your holiday Instagram photos for your tags misspell the name of the place. And it is the only thing that is not cut into soft little bites, our names, our unyielding names, carved from mountain rocks and ice and bones that will make you stumble, our hard place names. Borovec, Dobrinište, Pamporovo, Paničište, Čepelare, our spicy names sculpted in unswayable water of the Black Sea, where the silvery salt of the Orient will make you choke, our salty place names. Slunčev brjak, Zlatni pjasaci, Črnomorec, Nesebar, Kavarna, Primorsko, Škorpilovci, our adamant names will fall hard, like seed bombs drilling through your rigid tongues and square vowels, like tree planting drones blasting through the concrete and gold resorts we built, the temples where we kneel our land to worship your money and your power. Our names will fall and plant doubt in you. Thank you very much for having me. Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. It's been a pleasure. Sorry you had all that problems the last time. Hope to see you again. No invite needed, just come. Thank you. Okay, we're going to run with first-time blotters tonight. Time the booker. Sorry, would you please welcome Victoria?
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. It's been brilliant.
Pleasure.
I've really enjoyed it all. So I'm going to do two. Just to give a bit of context, I used to be a burlesque performer, and then I became a poet. So this is a poem about burlesque, but just so you know what I'm referring to. And if you're a Tom Waits fan, then you might recognize where I've completely plagiarized this from. Walking with determination, looking like a clown, suitcase on the escalator all around town, hairspray with the spray on shine, makeup on the face. Halloween's the only time I don't look out of place. Itching, step in line, stitching just in time. Really, I can manage this luggage just fine. An eyelash glue burn sticks for a while. Wigged up, taped up, suffocated smile. And the coked up city boys, loud, rude hens, left-wing couples and single shifty men. Exposure stage time competition shows. Pay my rent, then I'll take off my clothes. With prop wine, lollipops, a bottle full of gin. I'm so fun I'll make a dead man grin. Tassels in the pants, tit tape marks, lose a pasty mid-twirl and find it in the dark. Dita and Rita and Twinkie and Pinky and Fifi fresh from Rotherham. Zip, start, go, fuck, backstage, space rage, all this hot burlesque for them. Vintage faux fur stoles, dripping in pearls with pointed toes, fetish and latex and rubber and chains, and the tattooed chicks with rockabilly manes. I'm hot and sweaty, melting and stinking, and all I can think of is when to start drinking. There's rumbling in my belly, shaking like jelly. They're getting drunker than Irish wedding guests. There's glitter up my nose, sequins on the floor. Tell you a little something that you didn't know before. Hairspray, cough, cough, lipstick, more. Look at all that glitter is making my guts sore. No, I'm not skinny, but yes, I am brave. But enough of this empowerment bullshit, okay? I perform because I want to. I can stop any day. Now tell me something that I didn't know you'd say. It's tassels in the safety pants, tit tape marks. Lose a pasty mid-twirl and find it in the dark. Find it in the dark. Find it in the dark. So now for something completely different. This one's called My Famous Last Words. My famous last words aren't flowing today, but the lines of pursuit and the sordid promises, the endless gifts in Google translations, objectionable compliments, double speak and fake news, blatant infidelity, pretend empathy, they're on Chrome's spun display. The truth isn't showing up today, but the lines of self-pity and the shattered sentences, suspicious forward slashes, ... I miss her, still nothing. Bubbles break and views are bleak, a pile of charisma slumped by the bandstand. The truth is on full beam, it's just pointed a different way. I read something I shouldn't have today. The lines wove like a net around me, and the words were utter filth, twisting flesh, ploughing the need, pitiful cries, I'm struggling to breathe. You fed me burnt chicken and red wine, tentative messages and tender rituals until I was within your grasp again. It's fine, honestly, I'm okay. While the lines around my eyes deepen, my chest tightens, my nose and tongue grow, my ribs start to show. Stomach lining spews and vents, Instagram feed, a sickening need, bargaining tools, re-established rules. I'm in deep shit now, but what's worse is the shame. The power is in knowing today. I tell more lies when I'm chased by you, and my words can murder. Jealousy sucks and whimpers on speed, fabric strips taunt and a sniper points. A pressure cooker spills hot pink liquid in the road. Your dilated pupils spell out horror, playing a real timeline of constant pain. There's some peace in remembering today. Some lines can be cut before they take hold, and though word snares are rare, submitting of will and fractured ego, God's voice or a damaged psyche, I take comfort in knowing at least I'm not you. Bolted doors and the cocooning paper, they steer me away, keep me clear of your gaze. I really had to hand it to you today. That one-line email really got up my nose. 5 carefully selected, your famous last words. You knew it would rile me. I nearly replied. A voice said, stop. The mist retreated. I skip for joy, having nothing to say to you. Sticky lies slip, the net slackens. I reported your ass. Now get the fuck out of my face. Thank you.
How to end it. Thank you, Victor. Thanks for coming along. It's a great pleasure to have you. Thank you. Okay, another first timer coming up. Now I think it's supposed to be Greg Slade, but he's not here, and he's not a first timer. So please welcome Felix. You ready, Felix?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. They call me Barry, the bacteria, specialist in growth by stealth. I creep and persist in areas smelly, bad for your health. They call me Barry, the bacteria. Bacillus is but one of my names. Streptococci, anthracis, perfringens are titles I'll claim. For I was there at the beginning, seeded at the dawn of time, unique, ubiquitous. In the multitudes we shine, like spores in stasis, riding through the void of space, older than the galaxies, older than the human race. In millions, we prosper in giant macroscopic haste, affecting the scenarios of the great macroscopic place. We live off the sterile. We live of what is waste. We cure, kill, and conquer. We alter the sensation of taste. I'm Barry, the bacteria. Complexity's my very name. Confounding the scientist. Evolution's my favorite game. Methicillin, resistance. Our plasmids make us hard to hit. And our existence is persistence. We live on caviar, we live upon shit.
I'm Barry, the bacteria, transferred by the shake of a hand. We're in your head, your heart, and places you don't even understand. Mechanistic, biosynthesis. Energy is something we chase. And when you're dead and you're buried, I'll rot away your flesh and clean the waste. I'll rot away your flesh and clean the waste. I'll rot away your flesh and clean the waste. I thought better give bacteria a bit of an airing because they're feeling rather neglected since the virus has taken complete control.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Have I got time for one more small one?
Of course you have. Yes, of course you have. I never say no.
This is a bit of a health and safety. It's a health and safety warning. Never roll a barrel down a two-sided hill. Health and safety advice. I repeat, never roll a barrel down a two-sided hill. George rolled a barrel down a two-sided hill. The barrel gained momentum, a speedy type of thrill. The barrel reached the apex, and then it rolled back. The barrel hit the man and squashed him flat. That was the end of George. That was that. He was buried in a coffin that was remarkably thin. His wife shed a tear, and the guests drank gin. If he'd have heard the eulogy, he would have been flattered. But he was squashed by a barrel, and that's what mattered. Never roll a barrel down a two-sided hill. Thank you.
That's sage advice there, Felix. Yeah, be careful. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Wow. What a great night I'm having tonight. I don't know about you lot, but I'm having a ball. Okay, next up is, well, we all know if I'm hosting around Zoom across the water, Amy Hoskins. Amy.
Thank you. Good to be here. Everyone is amazing. I'm learning so much from the way people have crafted their words. I've got some that are emotional and I've got some that are political. Which do you prefer, emotional or political?
I thought let's go political tonight since we're on Fight the Power. So
there we go. So I've got two that are political. There we go. I used to live in the Washington, D.C. area for about 11 years and loved going down to the National Mall where there's the National Gallery of Art and the Congressional Building, all the things. So it's a wonderful, idyllic place. So I used to go there a lot. Two ideals: see-through world, walking on this house. I wonder if Jefferson wanders beside his spirit, ghostless, homeless, now they've gone so very far. Coming soon, the Hall of Irony, the expectant family huddled in the taxi. They've come to look for the history of ideals in the sculptured town, where the flags are always at half-mast for the homeless vets who wander this grass with me in desert and jungle camouflage, asking for the time. Inside one of these marbles, I found the abstracts. Jackson Pollock found one face out of two lovers, splattered, entwined on black and peach. On my way back out to the car, the revolving doors, I'm greeted. Ain't nothing beat the sky. That's the first one. Aw, thank you. Thank you. The second one is called Human Linear, and I wrote it for a different president, but it still works, sadly. Human linear, in awe of the perfection of the straight line, its rare and improbable logic, more like a beeline to the flowering trumpet vine, follows a dance the last bee left, along a trail of other flowerings, follows with joy diversions, winds and chance encounters with other bees. She wakes every day with her head of curls and a dog named Pedrito, who she saved, who makes her laugh at 73. Her bright mind still accumulating tidbits of fact, and I wonder that a million bees are not at her door each morning. These other lines are pure force that disintegrate in complications that cost other people's lives. Another skunk died today for your sins. Another spread its scent in your name, but it will never match the rot of your intent. Would it follow your every step in perfect tailored black? Oh, but today your affect of speaking to the people in a political tent, you leave a trail no bee would follow. And yet I admire the perfection of a line to the people for real that would save lives instead, that would disintegrate in complications, but whose net result would be a flowering.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Always a pleasure. Okay, we're coming back to this side of the ocean now, back to this water, and actually back up to Scotland here. Sit back and relax. Jamie McCormick.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Yeah. You can hear me?
Yep.
All right. I've got two short pieces tonight. I normally do one song, but I've got two little ones tonight. So and the first one, I normally do this as sort of like a full big, like full-on blazing rock track, but you know that's not appropriate for tonight. So I'm going to actually deliver this as spoken word. So, and this is my first time, everybody, so be gentle with me. Well, I'm a gun-toting hippie with a liberated mind, gonna wipe out all the fascists and the others of their kind, gonna blow away the bigots, the racists and the mean, then we all can live together in a world that's good and clean. Well, I'm a peace-loving soldier with a mercenary side, gonna chase out all the old school, now there's nowhere left to hide, gonna teach them all a lesson in the tolerance of others, gonna rid the world of evil from my sisters and my brothers. Well, I'm an avenging angel in a new age sort of way. Gonna raise my sort of vengeance, gonna make the bastards pay. But I'm here to fight the good fight. There's nothing here to fear if you do as you'd have done and your conscience is clear. Now, I ain't gonna judge you if you show a bit of soul. Everything would rock if we'd let a few heads roll. I'm gonna have myself a jihad, gonna have myself a ball. And if they don't listen to my reason, then I'm going to nuke them all. That's my first piece, and it's about being an angry hippie, basically. You know, I want world peace, and I get very angry that it's not happening. And you know, maybe if we just sort of like pull the trigger on a few, you know, but then I get into dodgy territory. Anyway, that was sort of me kind of almost taking the piss out of myself there. Right, here's my second one. And I should say before this, I should have said before that one as well, there is some bad language in this, and there is potentially some kind of triggering issues being brought up in this next one. And this is me again, kind of getting a bit angry about homophobia, transphobia, stupid, outdated views on things. And this is called the Pegging Song. So that probably gives you an idea of where I'm about to go. Right. You're not a girl, and I'm not a boy, yet we should still do have some fun pretending. And I get a kick out of thinking that we're sick, and of all the stupid bigots we're offending. You're not my niece, and I'm not your aunt. You're 6'3" and clearly the wrong gender. But I get a kick out of thinking that we're sick, and of all the stupid twats who call you Bender. You're not a queer, and I'm not a gay, yet puggery is always what you're begging. And I get a kick out of thinking that we're sick, and of all the homophobes confused by pegging. This is supposed to be whistling. It's a bit sad. You're not a nun, and I'm not a duke. I'm centre-left Republican and atheist. Yet I get a kick out of thinking that we're sick, and of all the Bible bashers and the religious fundamentalists, the conservatives and the tabloid class, who get upset because I like ass, ignorant and the blinkered peeps, who don't explore between the sheets, because I'm not breaking any law if I cage a cock and I fuck you all, because we're not hurting anyone, we're only having some fucking fun. And just before I go, I have to point out my use of the word Republican there is the dictionary meaning of Republican. I have to point that out because we have some Americans with us. It's Republican as in anti-monarchist, not as in a Trump supporter. Thank you. Just wanted to clear that up.
It's well clear, Jimmy. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Okay. Speaking of Americans, we'll go back across the water now. J. Martin Strangeweather.
Hey everyone. Just before I start, there's been so many voices here tonight, and honestly, I am humbled in the presence of so many powerful voices that have come and spoken here before me this evening. Some of them, and Kizzy and Kathy, I hate to drop names, but boy, they really pushed me right to the brink, I'll tell you that. Jeff Cottrell, I've seen Jeff so many times. He's always very innovative, very funny. Okay. Oh, I think a train is going to come by. I live next to the tracks. This piece, I took an old piece and I took a new piece and I collaged them together just for this particular performance. So it's old and new at the same time. Okay. It's called Delphic Dreams of Nostradamus. Delphic Dreams of Nostradamus, but a train is going to pass by. So I'm just going to say that's part of the piece now, okay? The limit of my mind is the limit of my body. The limit of my body is the limit of my universe. The limit of my universe is the limit of my language. The limit of my language is the limit of my mind. This is not a prophecy. this is not a game. The year 2016. The crown is placed upside down in homage to the spiral black sun. The year 2025. Golden Helen of Troy launches 1,000 ships. The year 2028. The hourglass turns over and the moon shows its true face. This is one of the oldest poetic forms known to mankind, humankind. This is a psychosocial experiment, history unfolding in fifth dimensional Rorschach. Some chess masters claim they can see up to 20 moves ahead. Try and imagine that, but you can't. The year 2032, 7 stars fall into the sea. The year 2036, the next race is born. The year 2045, the messenger arrives before the message. Yesterday's history lesson. If you keep pouring fuel on the fire, don't be surprised when it starts to burn out of control. Tomorrow's history lesson. Even though everyone knows that we'll never really understand one another or see eye to eye, we should still try, damn it. We should still try.
Thank you. Wow, thank you. Much appreciated, sir. Much appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, next up we have, I forgot my list here. I think it's Greg.
Yeah, hey everybody.
Hey.
I have a piece that actually is old. I actually wrote it with magnetic poetry, so it's a little broken, but I did never edit it. It literally is. I had 3 sets of magnetic poetry, and one night I set about on the side of a refrigerator to arrange all the words from 3 sets of magnetic poetry, and this is what I came up with. So the title is Magnetic Poetry. It's in 3 parts. The first is called Who Am I? Yet, beneath her in the symphony of sweet gardens, he was one after the chocolate mist, woman wanting, up to winter's ugly puppy over some tiny spring when enormous wind is flooding. Whisper my will, scream from the languid moon, picture those moments. Worship rain by seeing petals it has coolly fiddled on. Live summer as a language. Moan behind the gorgeous blue meaning. Let beauty watch him. Rust as you go to milk life. Our rose girl, she may ache about a finger. Be it here, have them out 1,000 luscious urges. He is so timeless. A swim with the forest? Why fall for lakes? Play it how I trudge, and at what pinkly were through tongue. Do not lick such, or peachly sore. 2, a serpent whisper. Starlight. Mystery, illumination, orange sun transcend the sky, mesmerize, phoenix love for lost, languid soul look, gurgling with the vast crimson burn. He never felt though delirious. Some fall happy good to bathe, their soft, naked love, delicate pleasure on bare fire, heaving ecstasy, garden, burst, divine, dumb, drug, deluge, destiny. Glimmered crazy auburn angel, God's drink majestic. Chase, fiery blood cascade, true enemy falls, placid face possesses. His vision grows bright cold, tranquil, 3. Listen, man. You are her sky sun, a child pie from warm steel of brilliant, stiff father. She would have some feline ghost with softness here, a robbed home of a woman. This vast laugh, he had coffee and you every candy. How are blind eyes and blue color corduroy about breezed caramel perfume? His job did pick him, but you know he is godly as a clean concrete pool. But after why bone and who good air always pierced my present melon. Then they put away night, not we or like brother and daughter, but as hot baby lip star and fat hand to make boy hard. Eat cup-sized women in slow grass. Over fishy change, said cold men, almost like a bellow. Speak more, for I linger open. Give our whole liquid. Go to stream out from the tree as we heal most of cut angel. Surround and web them as a glass cake could let you explore, sister, but green has not peace, lively cat. See the killer, dazzly thing, by bug to fly, and so I have haunt, yet sacred trust blushed when fever growled. And though he beat me with steamy sex dances, naked champagne is no work of the heart. After their squirming, seeping lies, I, the prisoner, if life be worry broken, I bleed a velvet, wordless question. No kisses born throbbing at fresh belly shall come to celebrate above decay. Perhaps you may ask, was all animal breath wet? Must flowers go down on dogs? Wake we from red, wild, rotting, bathing in longing? My day, eternity in porcelain remembers yesterday, and sad poetry, the moist poison needle only asking, did he use her there? Young girls darker desires can wear. She learns of fire of voices delicious, which blazing salty, smoking, soon say ferocious. My old self looks up to those joyful marble pictures, once sailed on a deep ocean to one universe. Never will die rhythm, but for two.
That was magnetic, shall we say.
Yeah, and again, I used every word in 3 things and put them together just as such. That's why some of it doesn't really make sense and sounds a little rough, but I just used the words where they could fit and let it kind of form the image that it formed.
And it came out great. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for squeezing me in.
Oh, right. You were only supposed to be about 2 before you came in anyway, so it was no big. They were fine. I've had a few call-offs, so. Right. We're going to move to the other side of the world now. The last time I seen him, he sometimes has problems with his sound. He's in the Philippines. So would you please welcome, I hope I pronounce your name there, right, Yudo? That be right, sir? Hello? Yuri?
Oh, it's my turn now.
Yeah, it's your turn now, sir. Yes, on you go.
Okay. So, hi, good morning to all of you. I'm from the Philippines, and it's 5 a.m. I'm here. Okay, so this first piece is well, I've already performed this the last time I was with you guys. This is called Sistina of the Unheard. I wonder what it feels like to be heard, for every word that slithers on my tongue to resonate, to not be dismissed or be greeted with silence when my teeth grits in rage as everything I have ever believed in explodes, and watch hope before my very eyes burn. And my soul will burn, and not even the scars will be heard. Even if I bang my head against the wall until it explodes, I do not know how far it will resonate. Even if I amplify it with my rage, my words would still be swallowed by silence. And maybe I should just drown in silence. For in the eye of the hurricane, what is a fire that burns? Does the sun even matter in the midst of a storm that rages? Have I not been louder than thunder to be heard? Yet it is not enough for you to resonate that I am about to explode. So I will explode. I will no longer be bound by silence until you will listen to my pain and it will resonate. For one can even hear a house screeching when it burns, but only when one acknowledges that a house wants to be heard. Are you listening? Can you hear the house's rage? Can you now understand my rage? On how I display it like fireworks exploding as I require your undivided attention just to be seen and heard. In this dark moment of silence, I burn just so you can hear my story resonate. And I hope you will lend your voice to resonate, joining together our fiery rage as we, hand in hand, let evil burn. So, so sound the trumpets, scream, and let the battlefield explode, for there is no place here for silence, only whispers and shouts that needed to be heard. Let our words resonate loudly that until it explodes. Let the rage break the silence. Let us all burn until we are heard. So, for my last piece is, let me look for it. I already prepared it, but like kind of lost it somewhere. Okay. This one is about sexism. Um, it's kind of like I kind of twisted the uh, the creation story of how Adam and Eve was made or created. So this piece is called Gender Twist. When Eve was taken from the piece of Adam's rib, I wonder if it occurred to him that Eve is a being of her own and realized that he had been robbed of ever feeling complete. Despite being made by Adam's side, despite being made from Adam's side, Adam told her that she was made by Adam and therefore for Adam. Still, Adam wraps his look down at her with such conceit. Adam, wanting to be the bigger and better man, then forcibly took a bite of her fruit, of which she was supposed to guard, and the knowledge of how good it was to take and the evil of what it's like to be taken was passed on to humanity. When God came down with judgment, Adam wiped the sin from his hand to her face and blamed her for not being strong enough to control herself and she was dumbfounded. When she was asked why she was pleading with impurity and guilt, she defeatingly and subtly said it was a snake because of her fear for Adam that had stricken her heart. But it was not a fear from the but it wasn't a fear from the tree. It wasn't the snake from the tree, but rather from the bushes that Adam had hidden with the leaves. And later on, when Eve gave birth to a twin, Adam reminded her that she was made by Adam and therefore for Adam. And I wonder what Adam taught Cain, and I wonder what Eve told Abel. So thank you guys for having me, and that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Yuri. Thanks very much for getting up at such an unearthly hour to do this. It's been an absolute pleasure. I was so looking forward to hearing you. Thank you. Oh, okay. We're moving on now. With who was it? Man, it was a feature point last time. Mark Simmons, Marky Mark.
Hi, thanks. Right, I'm going to do one of my older ones first. It's called Mac 10. Spray and pray the gangster way the little boys play, making their way, owning the day, settling arguments and making them pay, violence and revenge. Mac 10 takes the day. Deadly spray, hope and pray, life ebbs away. Black lab bandana, bad cussing and fussing, street talk, killing on the sidewalk. Mac 10 trying to take them. trying to make them men. Hip hop and rap, street culture and crack, Mac 10 to end the deal. Rat-a-tat-tat, bullets spat everywhere. No one was there, turn a blind eye, letting kids die, the mothers cry for ones who lie. Then break the code, the silent mode, Mac 10 will keep you quiet. Death and fear, the daily diet, wheeling and dealing, robbing and stealing, life freewheeling, fast cars and foul 3Rs, crime pays, dangerous days. Mac 10 to graves, it lays, shortened lives in shallow graves. Thank you. And now some new shit. I debuted this last night in the brew. And it was one I started writing some time ago, and I finished it off recently. And so I thought I'd do this one. It's called Capitalist. Elected dictators, lawmakers, people breakers, Marxism vowed in capitalist lines, politicians split, ready to quit, anger on the streets, politicians no retreat, provocative tweets about sleepers on streets who they never meet, just another person to beat, fear and uprising, the pressure cooker starts to vent. Kids with knives taking lives, disenfranchised by tissue of lies, making a living from dealing and stealing. Minimum wage, a different page, no suffering in their old age, guns and gangs, no vote, no law, subculture of violence and need fueled by weed and speed. Government clampdown from ministerial clown, no-go areas in rundown towns, nowhere to live, no shelter to give. Play the blame game, the political rhetoric is always the same. Rich man's laws keep poor men indoors, sleeping rough, it's not enough. They want them gone to vanish from the streets, no more reminders of what's gone wrong. Can't change it through the ballot box, 5-year blocks, deceive to achieve power of the masses and exempt the working classes. The law of haves and haves nots, all pissing in the same pot, explosive lots like gunpowder plots, fuses burning short, bail out, it's time to abort, appearing in court, police escort, short stretch, stench of a wretch. And then government foes have noses in the trough, creaming everything off the top. And all the time, it's the same old rhyme, capitalist crimes for which we do the time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Thank you. Great stuff again, sir. Great stuff. Okay. We're winding this down now. We've still got quite a few to go a little bit. Next up, John Wessick. Thank you.
Thanks, Finn. The second book I got published last week is called The Foreigner Wherever I Go, and it's a book of travel poetry. So I'll try to find some that fight the power here. This is called Dutch Postcards. Hair stuffed under a Rasta cap, Anne Frank smokes a bong and nods to the reggae beat. Eyes staring unfocused, her gaze lingers too long on me. She's there at coffee shop, resin, Barney's, the free world, the bulldog, double reggae, Popeyes, Kandinsky, the doors, Abraxas, gray area, easy times, relax, Picasso in the other side, examining buds under a magnifying glass and talking price with a man in a black hat and Van Dyke rough collar. She hands out samples of Gouda at cheese shops, nearly runs me over when I'm not watching for bicycles, and sings Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah in the square, posing half naked behind a window in the red light district. She taps the glass to get my attention and rubs her belly when I turn. She follows me on the train to The Hague and points to postcards in a shop outside the station. I'd buy a dozen and address them to John Yoo, Dick Cheney, and other torture apologists at the International Criminal Court wish you were here. So the next one is about Estonia. And, you know, the Russians, the Soviets moved a lot of Russians to Estonia, and after nearly wiping out their culture, and then the Soviet Union fell apart, and the country is left with a 30% population of ethnic Russians who they don't really want. This is called Parting Gifts. Cement block apartments litter the highway from my hotel to Tallinn's old town. Leftovers from Estonia's former Soviet occupiers, drab peeling paint and weathered wood, rusty padlocks, secure, sooty, abandoned factories behind chain link fences. Someone's installed a nightclub in one. The green sign and blue awning emerge from a mass of broken windows, rubble, and blackened smokestacks. Free enterprise brings gas stations and traffic jams. Trendy shops compete for tourist dollars along the medieval city's convoluted cobblestone streets. A sign requests donations for renovations inside the big Russian Orthodox church across from the pink Parliament building. Why give money to those who enslaved my ancestors? Still, I admire the huge chandeliers, vibrant icons, and sky blue ceiling with 6-pointed gold stars. I drop a coin in the box. Later, a sudden thunderstorm pelts me with rain. I take cover in an art gallery. A handsome man in a straw hat has been stranded too. He asks about my taste in music, says he plays drums in a rockabilly band, and tells me he's one of the Russians left behind after the Soviet pulled out. The storm clears. I tire of trying to comprehend his halting English. He struggles on, attempting to communicate long after I would have quit. He stammers now, SD Parliament, Russians, and kicks his foot like booting a piece of garbage from his path. Rasputin joins us. He tears the cap from a vodka bottle and throws it away. Let's go this way. He points down a deserted alley. Fearful for my ticket home and the money belt chafing my belly, I make excuses, walk away, and duck into a cafe to make sure they don't follow. I realize ethnic cleansing's cause sometime between the main course and dessert. Thank you. And
Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Wonderful as usual, sir. I forgot I was unmuted there. I could be quite noisy here. Okay. Well, next is always a pleasure as well. Lantern Carrier, sir.
Thank you. A beautiful earth. All the colors are still in this world. Forces change, but the light of the soul will never dim. A heart of shadows will see only the abysmal mist of darkness night. Yet when love embraces me, I see only incandescent delight. There's minimal movement in a rudderless boat. A bird without wings and feathers will not fly. The flame of love will always ignite candles. Night reveals the dazzling moon and awakens the new dawn. Open your eyes, O lantern. Remove the dark fog from the diamond citadel of the heart. At love's behest, Mother Gaia is dancing her own song. Spinning the wheels of adversity, she churns her own cauldron, awakening the lamps of glistening light. Untruth, one. Snow begins to fall sometimes like flakes, drifting in the atmosphere. The wind blows wherever love takes it, carrying these divine messengers of heaven to the pollen, the flowers, the foliage, my stained glass windows. The light flakes kiss my face and hugs me intimately. The healing effects, sometimes exactly what I need. In this noisy world of modern consumerism, I am a spark of spirit, sojourning like flakes, like zephyrs. Indeed, since I aspire for the highest, then perhaps I'm their master. Still, you would not necessarily know that. Sometimes I'm fragile, vulnerable, susceptible to danger, to being squashed upon like gray mist heralding snow. Truth is often just as delicate, requiring wisdom light to illuminate its path. O lantern, be as wise as Solomon and as gentle as the snow. Truth too. The scales of justice swings like a Libram pendulum. The same truth that frees me from my fears has also imprisoned me with serious guilt. The voice of conscience whispers, but to what avail? I need a receptive vessel to heed its call. My mind's weighed down with the truth, sitting on my shoulders like dead elephants. Locked prison doors are meaningless to a soul, bathing in a river of ceaseless love. So too wisdom defies the bars of logic to show that the truth told with bad intent is worse than the lies that man invents. I walk towards a sunlit path, leaving the unillumined truths behind in this ephemeral world of shadows. Last poem. Come, sweet Shyama, lethargy is still on duty, and empathy chained to my mind's chaos. Yet my heart is dauntless like a ring of fire, longing to soar the horizon. Lift up my soul, O love, let us ascend on the summit clouds, deep into the silvery mist of moonlight, to flood my core with the supernal rays of heaven. Bring me your streams, together we'll douse the darkest flames of sorrow. We'll lay siege to the dew of pure white snow, summon the moon and radiant sun. Lift up my soul, O love. Let us ascend on summit clouds, deep into the incandescent realms of freedom. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Wow. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, people, we're getting there, sadly. Or maybe not. Next up, Kate Frankenson.
Thank you, Finn. So tonight I'm going to do some really old shit, some new shit, and some hopeful shit, basically. It's going to be a meal. It's going to be a meal. So the appetizer is a poem I wrote when my daughter was 12, and there is a content warning of eating disorders for these 3 poems. You are the icing on the cake that you baked. The fondant smile that you make with your hands is mine. As I watch you, the cake that we baked 12 years ago when you were the bun in my oven. And the main course, which was probably 2 years ago. Pushing the trolley through Costco, my phone signal wasn't great. I get a call in amongst the apples, your friends saying they called an ambulance because you collapsed. This doesn't sink in fully. I'm too calm because I don't know what happened. I'll be there, I say, but call her dad because he's closer than I am and can get there sooner. The trolley is abandoned and I drive fast. It doesn't sink in. Even when I'm in the back of the ambulance with your hand, holding your hand, you ask me what happened over and over again. And I can only say, you fell and banged your head and bit your tongue. And that's why it's numb and you can't feel it. And why your head pounds and you're being sick and asking me again, What happened with unseeing, innocent eyes piercing my shattering heart? The saying is, apples don't fall far from the tree, but you rolled into the road after hitting your head on the brick wall, concrete floor, the curb, having multiple seizures in a muddy leaf-mulched puddle in the gutter, unconscious, exposed. Another mother saw you, recognised the goal shooter with the accurate shot, perfection in your slender white arms, and she saw you fall. She called the ambulance, whilst your best friend called me. As I hunter-gathered the bags of apples in Costco, we needed to fuel your meagre appetite. Apples I left in the trolley as I raced to be with you, this food that didn't sustain the binging and the purging hidden for well over a year, that shut off your brain, causing the pain that transformed you. And this is the hope, because there's always hope, isn't there? And this is old technology. This is a book. I wrote this in. I've written lots about this, and I've only just, first time I've shared it, really. My loyalty knows no boundaries. Unconditional, unlimited love. In my arms, you know tenderness and appreciation. I do you no harm, though I may cause painful insight through unrelenting parenting. Life is yours to learn from or leave alone. But all life is equal in my heart. Your breath is as important as every other living thing. I am pained by death of anyone or anything. My empathy strikes me down low, so I am level with your suffering. And if I can ease your way, I'll do all I can to form a bridge, one brick, one step at a time, so we get to the other side together. You are never alone. All bridges are different. All life is unique. I love difference. It brings joy to my heart. Authentic, original, thoughtful me with you. You. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. That was great mixture, as they said. It was wonderful stuff. Thank you for bringing that to us. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. Next up, he always wore a white rose on his lapel as we walked arm in arm through the kirkyard at midnight. Dane Ince, please. Dane Ince.
Okay, listen, I'm going to quote Bob Dylan, John Lennon, and Gil Scott-Heron. Bob Dylan. While preachers preach of evil fates, teachers teach that knowledge waits can lead to $100 plates. Goodness hides behind its gates, but even the President of the United States sometimes has to stand naked. Examined naked. Ponder revolution. What does it really mean to be free from oppression? You know, we all want to change the world. Everybody wants to see your plan. Poets fight the power, fight the man. It won't be the first time, it won't be the last. Here we are again, armored selves on battlements. Maybe this time, blows against empires, blows against the state. Let's wander out to where berries grow, overthrow ourselves. A blow against the state of being, against the state of mind. It is removal of what is now. How do you do it? From behind a plow, under the rubble of your corrupt soul collapsed. It's a crime to be a criminal against the crimes of the state, the ones you are force-fed, a seizure, a fit, a failure of fabric, of the fabric, close-knit, to hold together in a tribe, in a city. So we may do things we cannot do alone. Fly to the moon, consider colonies on Mars, coup d'etat. The faction passion boils over to losing life, 1,000 years of oppression. Do you understand how to use revolution in a sentence? A heavy heavenly body revolves around, spins elliptical round, the pulsing orbit river rock smooth, sudden change, undoing usurpation, ending in the end government's oppression, a revolt. Everybody is broken, damaged. I cannot imagine how we all stay alive. Who knows how delicate butterflies fly? Stand examined, naked in front of the mirror. Be ready for your old self to die. Gil Scott Heron. The revolution will not be right back after message about white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no reruns, brothers. The revolution will be live. Thank you.
Woo. Thanks, mate. Cheers. That was great. All right. Thank you. The penultimate spot tonight, penultimate point, encapsulates actually the internationalist of this. It's an American living in Glasgow. Erin.
Hey guys. I realized I bought some Bubblicious today. I don't know if anybody remembers when it first came out in the 70s, but yeah, I found it at a place on the high road in my neighborhood. I'm like, but I have gum. I'm so excited.
Old shit, huh?
Bubblicious. Anyways, no, this is not new shit, actually. I thought about writing some sort of political screed. And then I kind of realized I had something that covers all the bases about power. And like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, just in the story, there's cops, there's a false arrest, there's blah, 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 there's an escape. Trigger warnings. I don't know. I mean, everybody should expect it from me, bad language, but I'm just going to say that anyway. And domestic violence. So this is called the Strangulation Sonnets. 1. Mace should free someone where they stand. So why do you keep coming, fists twisting in your eyes? I'm not too small for this gesture, and here are my boundary lines. Turn your ass around and walk away. My door is about to slam. But no. Gape and howl and petulant, scratch your way into my room. On my bed, wrap your hands around my neck. Walls sinking, rocking, queasing, all hands on deck. Slap, blood, splatter. I see your mother crawling out of her tomb. My roommates cower in the kitchen, no defense to expect but my own. You're not wanted here. I've pushed you out the door. You don't live here. You've no jurisdiction. This is for demanding respect in my home. And why are you throwing my clothes on the floor? 2. All I can think about for all this time, for all these years, is the cat hiding under the bed, helpless, frightened. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Do you fucking hear? So many bottles broken, the last one grabbed from the nightstand. Did he see the police's footsteps from under the bed the first time they came? Crunching through so much broken glass, looking for a woman in danger. The windows open, blow cold San Francisco rain. Little Iggy slowly poisoned by sweaty fumes of anger. But I was arrested, you see. It was me. The bottle I used bruised the back of your head, trying to get your hands off my throat. Why won't you go down? Impossibly. Your hands got stronger the nearer either of us got to dead. They put the cuffs on me, and you were gracious. No, you didn't gloat. 3. This could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. Don't I? I'm stopping this shit on a fucking dime. There'll be no talk of paying what you owe. If you can't stand this music, get out of this fire. You're not even conscious. You've been jumped by booze and a ghost, banging your rag doll and vibrating on some invisible wire. Before I can react, I'm on the floor. Now's your chance. My throat's exposed. This time there was calm enough so I was able to feel the disappearing act playing through my mind. You're killing me. You're killing me. Even to you now, don't those words sound so real? And did you ever wake up to find a day where you were blacked and blued and bloodied, but you knew you were free?
Thank you, thank you. Enjoy your double-licious.
Really good. Sorry to be a downer, but I had no idea it went so near the last.
All right.
Bring us up, Clive. Bring us up, Clive.
I know. Well, we have a surprise. We have a late turn-up, and we always enjoy it. So we're right back across the water to the other side now. We've got to Mexico for Edith Blackbird.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to see you. Finn, thank you so much for hosting, and thank you for giving me the space. I respect your event, and I'm really thankful that you gave me the chance to participate today. So thank you. So I have this piece, it's untitled. Please, Finn, is it okay to put music in the background? All right.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Will you please let me know if you can hear the voice and the music at the same time, please? If you can hear the music.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Can you hear the voice as well with the music?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much again. So this is untitled. And it starts like this. I grieve my lost childhood, penetrated by adulthood. Ves mis lágrimas, poderosa impotencia gravitando alrededor de mi niñez, aún perdida. I grieve the long gone. Extraño su pollo asado, his devotion to the sunrise, su fuerte olor a cigarro, even if my nose bleeds in confusion. Extraño su flan, su bata bordada, her dented wheelchair hurt by the weight of surrender. Mientras aprieto su mano agonizante, extraño su voz, erosionada por la enfisema. His wounded child asking for warm soup, sus largas caminatas sin sentido, his excitement when wrestlers fake fighting and be admired and cherish. I grieve my land, mi México, mi pobre país, drowned in clouds of rice paper decoration in every square, inundando en frescas flores cada esquina, drowned with missing people sheets in every single lamppost, inundado también en altares de muertos, injusticia en cada hogar. Drown in rich, spicy food, smell from street markets. Inundado en coloridos sonidos nacientes en los mercados. Drown in injustice, rotten perfume from clandestine grapes, those that nobody talks about. Inundado en bosques violados por la avaricia de lo intocable que es la elite. Out there in the top, the rich. Mi gente, oh mi gente, drown in hard-working souls who walk to their duties every day. Mi hermosa gente, my hard-working people, who must support corrupted leaders voluntariamente a fuerzas, ¿o no? Partidos políticos que monopolizan las riquezas de nuestro país, my Mexico, who chant to the microphone their truth made of lies. Don't forget to smile for the cameras. Smile. Un guiño y los ojos sobre todos y nadie. Políticos, politicians, gobierno, government, falsos mesías, folks, messiahs, who as wrestlers pretend to fight for us, for everybody, and are still admired, apreciados por gente con esperanza como yo, en caída libre a la nada. People with hope who are falling to the pit of nothing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Edith, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you made it along tonight. So glad you made it along. Whew. Okay. We come to this time our final spot of the night. A man, we're glad to say, hasn't gone to the dogs tonight, and he's here. Clive, the stage is yours, sir.
Evening all, morning, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Right, this one I'm going to do, some of you may have heard it. I've done this a couple of times on Zoom, and I can't remember where. I really can't remember where, but I know I have done it somewhere. But it's one of those that I wasn't absolutely sure it works on Zoom, so I sort of put it away for a bit, but here we go again. And I will say, bit of self-promotion, the full text of this poem is in this wonderful book here called It Could Be Verse, which is available from all the usual places. So, yeah. So here we go then. Good evening, it's 8 o'clock and welcome to the World in Spotlight. I am privileged to be making history tonight. Some listeners may well take fright at what I'm about to reveal, but that is all right, I feel. It is understandable, even indeed natural. Some won't believe it is factual, but it is. I am thrilled to say that what you will be hearing is the first interview on Earth with an alien being. I have been warned that due to the way translation is formed, this species bluntly speaks its mind and may seem somewhat unrefined. The technology is designed for the masses from a planet that does not recognize classes. So, my first questions are these. What is your name? Where are you from? And why have you decided to make contact? I'm sorry. I can't understand that. Do you speak English? We didn't understand. Okay, no problems. What? Please. I know the circumstances are highly unusual, but for our audience approval, please, no profanities. This is being heard by kids who... But it's just convention. Okay, so I can see you're very forthright, and I'm immensely proud to speak to you tonight, the first human being ever... Okay, so what planet are you from? Oh, that's no good. Okay, so where are you speaking from now? Why are you so bloody arrogant, you horrible little... I'm listening. Okay, so what do you mean by that? Well, yeah. Yeah, I could probably understand that. But you switch your translator off, please. Please, speak English. Speak English, please. Please, don't go. Don't go. What do you mean we have to change? What can we do? We know we've got problems. What do we need to do to change? Please, come back. No, don't fucking cut. It's not fake news, is it? You heard it for yourself. Please. Thank you very much.
What a way to finish the evening.
And yes, for mash get smash, as somebody said.
That was Felix. I thought the voice was familiar. Okay, thank you very much, Clive. Thank you. That was great. That was really... I'd like to thank everyone that's here, the 28 people or whoever stuck around and popped in, and they're 25 now. That was a mammoth...
awesome. Because you're so awesome. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. That was a mammoth night and a wonderful night, and I've enjoyed
Thank you, Finn. Round of applause for Finn.
Great night, Finn. Massive round of applause for Finn.
Thank you, Finn. Thank you.
Well done, Finn.
And we'll see you all on the Christmas one. They can make it.
Keep
What's
us
the
posted
date?
on that.
It's
What's the
actually
date?
20th of December. It's 3 weeks. I know it's a funny time, but
Hey Finn,
you know.
what if I celebrate Hanukkah? Can I still come?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can.
I mean, are you gonna have a Christmas tree and a Hanukkah menorah?
What was that, Brian?
Are you gonna have a Christmas tree and a Hanukkah menorah so that you can appease me?
Well, yeah, you know, it's whatever.
I'll send you a menorah in the mail. Okay.
Okay.
I'm an agnostic. So I just watch It's a Wonderful Life and eat ham. That's all.
No, I've got that. I've got that on DVD downstairs. I think that's fine. And we're not even sure if we're putting up a Christmas tree this year because we're just got to be bah humbug, and it's so much work. It's at the back of the cupboard, and I've got to take all my clothes out, all the junk out to get into it, and into the other bit of the loft to get. So you know,
it'll be worth it, mate.
Yeah, maybe.
It'll be worth it. You get up, turn the lights on. It'll be great.
Well, actually, the village we stay in, they put up the Christmas lights, and one of them could literally up that lamp was right outside our window in the bedroom. So we don't need one. We've got one. I can't show
Got one there. It's ready made.
We've got one ready made, yeah, and it costs me nothing.
Okay.
It's great. So anyway, once again, guys, thanks, man. It's went on for 15 minutes longer than the last one did. It's been on for 15 minutes longer than the one did before. You know, so maybe Christmas, we might see New Year in together from the same day. You never know. Forget going your families.
See you guys soon.
We'll all be here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Night, lads. Take care.
Bye.
Have a happy.